Happy hump day, everybody. It is July 26th of 2023. Welcome back to the True Crime Cafe with yours truly, the Dago. Great to be back with you guys. Today we're going to be looking into, there was a YouTuber threatened in Moscow, Idaho. Crazy stuff, folks. And we're going to get started on the GILGO beach case. More crazy stuff. Thank you all for being here with me today and joining me with this. Let's get the show on the road again. Oh, what's happening, everybody? Ha 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 ha. We doing today? Thank you for joining me today on this wonderful Wednesday, hump day, midway through the week on July 26th. The month is almost over. This summer is flying by, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I appreciate you all so very much. We got 162 people in here. We got 43 likes. Let's make it match, everybody. Let's do that if we can, please. I appreciate you so very much. If you will, come on in. Leave me some DNA on that like button. Make sure you share this out. Please, 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 if you will. Friends and neighbors, the dog, the cat, whoever you think wants to hear my big mouth running, please share it with them. Please, 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 if you will. Again, thank you all for being here today with me. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. Had a wonderful evening last night as well, because you all deserve nothing but the best. Let's see who graced us with their wonderful presence today. Who we have in the house with us. It looks like Miss Carolyn Miller's in the house. Good to see you, Carolyn. Thank you for joining us today. Kim Marin, welcome back, darling. Good to have you here. Miss Joe, what's up? Good afternoon to you. Casey, my dear, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Daisy Dead's in the house. What's happening, Daisy? Woke up in 1984. Welcome back, dear. Mrs. M, darling, good to have you here always. Mystic Virgo, what's happening? Good to see you. Margaret Hofer, welcome back. Data Funk, hey, new name. Good to see you. The lovely Miss Dolphin's in the house. Good to have you here. Doc, the doctor's in the house, everybody. Make sure you're eating that apple a day to keep her away. Welcome back, Doc. Lisa, good to see you. Kansas 997, great to have you here. Kelly Coker, welcome back. Kemi Q, always happy to have you here, darling. Rachel Smith, welcome. Great to see you. Mrs. Kelly's in the house. Great to have you. My brother Lance, the Wolf Nation, bro. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Tracy Dane, another new name. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Chick Antique, always happy to have you here, darling. Brandy B, the OG's in the house. Great to have you here, Brandy. Good to see you. Miss Zelda, lovely having you here, dear. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my goodness gracious. Who Miss Christina Alaska? Thank you for joining me today with the rest of us here. Great to have you here. Don't dive. 509. The Raging Cajuns in the house today. Great to have you here, ma'am. Thank you for being here with us. William Tardy, welcome back, brother. Good to see you. Then afterwards, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. La di da, la di da. Victoria Laria. Larea. Welcome. Good to have you here. Good to see you. All right, all right. No change, no mo. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for being here always and forever. Thank you for joining us today. Great to see you again. Ivon Montez. Hey, hey, hey. Good to see you, the Canadian Cat Ladies in the house, guys. Thank you for joining us, dear. Rach, welcome back, darling. Good to have you here. Vix Logic from Over the Ponds in the house, guys. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Crime Sleuthin, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Great to have you here. Miss Bernice Rivera, thank you for being here as well. The lovely Miss Sherry Wisdom Speaks is in the house. Thank you for joining us, dear. Deborah Thompson, welcome back. Great to see you. Gemini 65. This lady's got great taste in music, folks. Thank you for joining us today, Gemini. Great to have you here. Great to see you. Cleo, hey, hey, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here, Miss Krista. Welcome back. Great to see you. Miss Bonnie Messick's in the house. Welcome from Seattle, dear. Good to see you. Hope it's not raining there. Carrie Pristula, thank you for joining us today. It's great to have you back. Let me see. Let me see. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? We're almost there. Samira Davi, thank you for joining us, dear. Appreciate you. My buddy Eddie's in the house, guys. One maiden nut. Always happy to see you here, Eddie. Thank you for joining us. Adam, stand by the jams. Another one from over the pond. Thanks for joining us, brother. Good to have you here. Scarlett, welcome back. Good to see you. Miss Jessica Santiago, thank you for joining us today. Great to have you here. Crazy P, welcome back. Good to see you. Crime Sleuthin's got some music going on here. Let's see here. Evie Marie, thanks for joining us, dear. Great to see you always. Tina B, welcome back, dear. Great to have you here. All right, we're getting there. Commercial zones in the house, folks. Thanks for being here, commercial. All right, that hit the top there. Let's who's down at the bottom. Miss Heather M's in the house. Good to have you, Heather. Good to see you, baby boop. Welcome back. Good to see you. Is that a new name? Maybe. Yes, it is. CH, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Candy Girl, thanks for joining us, my dear. Good to have you here. Max G, great to see you. Brooke E, welcome back. Junkin' Mama's in the house. Great to have you. Party of 5. Add one more for me. Good to have you here. Mudman, my brother, good to see you. One diamond at a time with Gloria. Welcome. Good to see you, dear. Judy Adams, welcome back. Dinky 1974. What's going on? Welcome back. Good to have you here. Great year. It's the year I was born, folks. All things silver. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Thank you for joining us today, Cyberspeed. Welcome back. It's been a minute. Looks like I had the same problem yesterday. Mary P. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us. Uh-oh. Mama Bear's in the house. Are you joining me up here, dear? Or are you too busy hanging out in the chat? Tanya Bond, good to see you. Melissa Jade, welcome back. Good to have you here, dear. Jesse Scholl, good to see you, brother. Way far away. Angie Riley, welcome back. Good to see you, darling. Thanks for joining us. Nothing half-assed. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. I always got to stress that so I don't sound like I'm saying something else. My brother CJ, good to see you, bro. Thanks for joining us today. Great to have you here. Good golly, Miss Molly's in the house, everybody. We can't go wrong there. Thanks for being here, darling. I appreciate you. I appreciate all my moderators. You guys do such great things, such hard workers. I appreciate you all so very much. And thank you for being here with me today, guys. Do me a favor, and if you will, grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come on in here, sit down, please, and have a conversation with me. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you all, because the cornball is coming full force. I hope it's good for you folks because it's good for me to be here with you. I love you guys to death. Denise Datillo, welcome back. Donna Bayhurst, good to see you. Becky, hey, good to have you here, dear. Good news, folks. Yesterday we broke the barrier. We are now at 6,020 something subscribers. You guys are amazing. No worries, mama. No worries, mama. You guys are amazing for doing that to this channel. I appreciate you more than you guys know. We all do. All of us here on this team love you guys for doing what you have done for this channel. And I absolutely cannot express that anymore. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate that so very much. We're going to be getting together to do something here at the end of this week for this, just to celebrate a little bit, folks. And I hope you're all there. Kelly Keene, thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Miss Sherry. I appreciate you. 6,030 plus. That's right. And just keeps on growing. I cannot believe it, folks. You guys are beautiful and amazing for doing all that, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Natcat, welcome and thank you. All right, all right, all right. Chicken Nugget. Hey, hey. I love the name and thank you for that. Appreciate you. Yes, I could not have done it. You guys did it. I didn't. Every one of you amazing people did this, not me. We are already out in the algorithm and everything. You guys rock and roll, guys. Can't go wrong there. Miss Sandra Blackby, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Bobby J, welcome. Good to have you here. Chicken Nugget. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Just like McDonald's. Jesse, I appreciate that, honey. I really do. And I've noticed that a lot of you guys really do. It wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. I've said that 1,001 times, and I'll say it again. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. No reason to do it other than for you guys and for the sake of, true justice for these families and these kids, for all any people in these cases we're covering. But again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for any of you. I really wouldn't. So Jesse, thank you so much, and I love you just as much, my dear. I really do. I hope that my content still brings you all the same satisfaction that it always has, and I hope it continues to for as long as I can be here. I'm not going anywhere, guys. As long as I can be here, I will be here for you guys, because I do absolutely love you all so very much, and I thank you all just for supporting me as a person and being who you guys are. That's what did this. It's just the amazing people. All of you are the ones that did this and does this every day. So I thank you from the deepest part of the bottom of my heart for being here with me every single solitary guy. I do love you guys to an extreme level. Words don't even explain it. And once again, from my heart, thank you so very much. Pepper, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Unravel's in the house. Good to see you, darling. Thank you all for the congratulations. I appreciate that so very much, folks. Every one of you guys. The last one on the plane. Deplane. Interesting name. Thanks for joining us today, buddy. Good to have you here. Keep my phone away from here until I need a better system, period. Jacqueline Keeley, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Noni McPoppins in the house. Thank you so very much, Noni. I appreciate that. Really do. Don't dive. Thank you. I love you just as much. Love the Raging Cajun. Eve Lucky, great to see you. I haven't seen her either. Higher Ground, you're talking about. I don't know. I've been worried myself. I hope she's all right. Pappy Man, good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. Miss Vanessa, welcome. Good to have you. All of you guys, thank you so very much for the kind words, the congrats on all of it. Like I said, we're gonna try to get together sometime the end of this week and do something a little bit fun, just as a celebratory scenario. Striker Force for you. Thank you for joining us. As you all see in the title, um, yes, there was a. I'm sure most of you know about it, but I'd like to talk about it because it's kind of disturbing to me. Um, which is going to surprise a lot of you because it was JLR that was threatened. I'm not a huge fan of his. Okay, I'm not, but he still works hard. You know, he does. He gets his boots on the ground. He's doing his thing. Welcome, Marguerite. Good to see you. And nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to have to deal with that. He's doing the same thing we're all trying to do, and his, the way he does it, it's different. You know, um, but whether people agree with what he's doing, how he does it, who he is, or whatever. Thank you so very much, CR. Gifted one membership. Looks like Miss Deborah Thompson. Welcome to the sauce. We got a new meatball in the house, folks. Um, you know, it doesn't mean that he deserves to be threatened. And when you guys see this guy that threatened him, wow, I was just like, damn, bro, somebody has some issues. And it comes to find out that this guy has a history of this kind of stuff. But still, Miss Allison, welcome to the sauce. Welcome to the family. Another new meatball in the house. Love it. Doc Terry, thank you so very much. I appreciate that, my dear. Melissa, I'll show you here in a minute, huh? I'm gonna show you a video. It was what's the guy's name? I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't say it. The guy was pretty out there the way he was acting, though. In person, in his face, walked right up to his car window. Of course, Jay, like I said, I'll show you guys the video here in just a minute. I'm just trying to give it a second here for everything to reset on this side for something I was doing, and then we'll get right into that there. Adams, yes, sir. Kirk Adams was the guy's name. David Clayton, what's up? I guess that guy had attacked Bullhorn Betty too. Like I said, I don't always agree with these creators, folks, but we're all people, okay? We are all people. And in one way, shape or form, we're trying to bring the news to you guys because we can't trust mainstream media anymore. And to be attacked that way, this guy's, and it makes me wonder, like, what is this dude's problem? And I read up on it. I guess he's got some form of PTSD or something, but he does this regularly, not just with, who he did it with. But it's wrong. It's unacceptable in my opinion, completely. He needs put away, and he was arrested, thank God. Yeah, he drives around in a white SUV. He's got flags all over it. The guy's he's out there, folks. He really is. And we're going to be doing a show here relatively soon here in the next month. And it's all about nothing but mental health. It's a bad thing right now, guys. And it has been for a long time. There's a lot of mental health issues out there that are not, they go untreated. It's sad. Okay. This Kirk Adams very well could be a vet. He served our country to keep us all free. And he's out here, going around threatening people, harassing people, freaking out. He's got something going on in his mind that's not straight. These are the people that need to be helped, folks. We need mental health facilities brought back into play, and the people need to be on the medications they need to be on, and just all of that, folks. It's not dealt with like it's supposed to be anymore, and it really bothers me. It really does. And we're going to have a whole episode on nothing but mental health one day here coming up. So stay tuned because that's what it's about. Kelly King, good to see you. I agree. He probably is, David. With the flags that he has on his vehicle and stuff like that, he kind of reminds me of that. You know, I don't like to prejudge people. I don't know for a fact, but I'm gonna guess. And if he's got some form of PTSD, it kind of helps. Mandy Joe's in the house. The comedian is in, folks. What is happening, sis? Thanks for joining us today. Another one of my amazing moderators, Miss Daisy Dead. All of you, thank you for joining me today, guys. I got the best mods on the planet, folks. I really do. I have nothing but love for these guys. Tattletale, it's good to see you. V Oakley, what's going on? How's that weather down south down there? No Chains, thank you for joining me today again. Another great mod I got. You're right, Mudman, and it's a bad thing. It needs attention. We have all of these mass shootings and school shootings and these crazy things that go on that I feel that they could be helped if we could get some help in the mental health area, guys. Kib Kitty's in the house. Good to see you, Kib. Thanks for joining me, dear. Another great moderator for our brother CJ over there. She does a great job over there, guys. For those of you that don't know about CJ, please go check him out. He is my brother from another mother. Great to have him in here today. Jay, what's going on, brother? Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us yesterday. I appreciate you so very much, my friend. Another great show over there. Check him out if you will. On Point with J Rod, or J Rod on Point. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Miss Dawn, good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us. Bry Guy, Mr. Brian Hoffman is in the house. What's up, buddy? We love you, sir. Carol M, welcome. Good to see you here. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Not as of yet, Brian. Not as of yet. Believe me, I promise you, the first thing I get, it goes right to you guys, even if I got to go live at 4 in the morning. Oh, absolutely, darling. You do a wonderful job over there. You're such a sweet person, too. I appreciate you. I really do. Mystic Virgo, good to see you. Spence Text 83, I am good. Good to see you. And again, I want to thank everybody that's just jumping in here one more time. The Richard, good to see you, brother. Got your email, my friend. I got all of the emails from all you guys. I'm trying to catch up on them, guys. There's a lot. A lot, no lie. But I'm working on it. I try to catch them all up. Same with the comments. I appreciate you so very much. I really, really, really do. Like I said, guys, I couldn't do this without any of you. Dakota Parker, welcome. Pebbles, good to see you. This is where the cool kids hang out, huh? Well, you guys are all pretty cool to me, so I absolutely can agree with that one. Yeah, I had a hell of an explosion. My apologies for dropping off like I did. For anybody I was talking to yesterday when it happened, it just boom. Yeah, everything worked out okay. I'm back here with you guys today. That's all that matters to me. Miss Italy D, good to see you. Good to have you here, Jesse Lynn. Oh, yeah, I did speak to you, Jesse. Again, thank you for that comment. JLR is everywhere, guys. Yes, he is. So, again, folks, everyone, we have broke the 6,000 mark. Okay. We're at 6,030 something, I do believe, and growing. Tennille, Suzanne, good to see you. I'm about to show you, Tennille. No worries. So, folks, thank you once again just for being you, supporting this channel, supporting me, and then making these things happen and being who you are, folks. One more time, thank you so very much. SRB, good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us today. All right. Come on down, everybody. Thank you for being here. I really, really, I say this so much. I feel like I say it too much now. But I love you guys. I do. This is the highlight of every day of my life is doing this with you guys. I go through my withdrawals over the weekends when I'm not here with you all. When I can't come on here because of tech issues, I guess this is my highlights, folks. I love it every day. Every day. All right, all right. Here we go. 1 second, everyone. All right. Here we go. Let's see this. This YouTuber, Mr. Jonathan Lee Riches, however you say his name, JLR Investigates, Sandy, Colorado. Good to see you. That is a fact, my dear. I love that comment too. Love that comment. Where'd it go? We are Dago's happy place. You have got that right on point, folks. Right on point. Right on point. Mansfield. Hey, hey. Good morning, Miss Leslie. Good to see you. Lulu Chu. Hey, how are you? Local Lass. Good to see you. Again, Lance, brother. Good to see you. We got quite a few Ohioans in here. A lot more lately. I love it. Jonathan Lee Ritchie. That's it. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for that, Sandy. That's a fact. You guys are my happy place. That's not a lie. That's true too, Miss Brandy. Allison Lee, Zanesville. Hey, hey. We got Youngstown in the house. We got Akron, Cleveland. We got it everywhere, guys. Good to hear, Miss Heather. I hope everything's going good with you, by the way. Mary P, that's right. Please vote. August. Please do. Can't keep poking the bear. Yep. So, check this out, folks. Like I said, I'm not a huge supporter nor fan of JLRs, okay? You guys know that I'm not mean. I don't talk bad about other creators. Even if I don't like them. 57 Vicky, great to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us today. And I just kind of stay away from people that I'm not fond of or that I don't support. That's all. And I try to. Okay. Lil Harrow, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Ohio's natural born sleuth. Hocking Hills. That's right. That's a great place, by the way. Group, what's up? Good to see ya. Canadian True Crime Buff in the house. Good to have you here. Tara Webb, welcome back. Great to have you. Miss Jessie's in New York. Hey. Susie Q, welcome back. KT, what's going on? That's right. Thank you. Gray Nicole, Miss Nicole Gray, thank you for joining us. Love having you here. David Clayton, my brother, always happy to see you. Awesome stuff, guys. 464 people in here. We're in that algorithm. We're doing it right. Tacos for tonight. We had that last night. I love the name, the way you did that. It's really cool. Oh, snap. Miss Sharon's in the house. Hey, good to see you, Sharon. Thank you for joining us. Then afterwards, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, IW. Oh, yay. Another Ohioan. Telling you, folks, we're in the house here. We got it rocking. So, like I said, I'm not a huge supporter nor fan of JLR, but he is a creator, okay? He does put his feet on the ground. He does do work. This guy's all over the place. I don't necessarily agree with his tactics and the way he handles things, but I don't have to. There's people that don't like the way I do things, okay? And that's okay. To each their own, whatever it is, so on and so forth. So, JLR Data Funk is Y-Town. Gotta love it. Hey. JLR was in Moscow doing a documentary, as he claims. You'll see that in the video here. And this guy kind of blocked the road, as you'll see. OH. IO. Yeah, we do. We got a lot of Y-Town in the house. That's all good with me. That is all good with me. Support, support. That's right, guys. Show the love. Ohio is in the house. So he was doing his thing like he does. He's everywhere. This guy is everywhere. I'm telling you. You'll see a video of him in an airport getting off the plane. Next thing you know, he's here. Then he's over there. Then he's here. Then he's there. Then he's back home in Florida. Then he's back here. He's moving constantly, okay? Busted Flush, good to see you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Up, Crime Sleuthing says we got an Amber Alert out of Oklahoma, 10-month-old. Camarion Lee, 2 foot 25 pounds. Missing endangered mother Alyssa Lee, 23, brown hair, blue eyes, just issued. Thank you for that so very much, Crime Sleuthing. My alert did not, or yeah, it did. Actually, it was silenced. I have nationwide alerts that go off on my phone, so yeah, I did get one. Thank you again, though. No more babies. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pebbles. Absolutely. No more. Good Lord. Enough is enough with this stuff, folks. So, excuse me, moving forward. Cowboy, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, bro? Thank you for joining us. So this is what went on. I'm about to show you guys. Carol M., thank you for joining us. Like I said, if you guys don't agree with him, I understand. Tony Grant, thanks for being here. Alicia XO, thank you for joining us. Well, there we go, Alicia. Los Angeles 2022, thank you for joining us. Well, I'm sorry, Los Angeles. If you don't like that, you don't have to be here. My apologies that you're not comfortable with it. El Bariqua. I like to greet the people that come in here to support this channel that got us to 6,000. People that don't like that, you don't have to be here. That's all I can say. I'm not trying to be rude, but it is something I do. It's part of my daily act. So my apologies to you. Actually, I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying if you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to be here. Okay. This is what I do. I've always done this and I'm not going to change it now. So thank you for being in here. It is what it is. Thank you, Cowboy. Moving forward. So, like I said, I'm not a fan. I don't agree with everything he does, but I don't agree with this either. This is wrong, in my opinion. You know, nobody should go through this. It's just off, guys. It's not right. Moving forward. Let's see. What went down.
Investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho Brian Kohlberger case. As some of you might or might not know, there was a man that got arrested outside the Moscow, Idaho home last week. There was an incident where a man threatened me. A man threatened me outside the home. I was in the area working on a documentary covering the case. It was after I met the Gonzalez family, and I want to share what this man did, and then we will further discuss. Again, this is for educational purposes only. Say no to.
You guys still getting the echo? Sorry, guys. You shouldn't be getting one. Let me see if this is better.
Violence. Do not support any violence or threats whatsoever. So
welcome, Rom C. Sentinel.
How's it going? How's it going?
I see your fucking face here again. I'm gonna fuck you up. Okay? I'm gonna give you a fucking.
Now, the first thing I have to say about this is if this guy would have done this here, where I grew up, where we're from, he'd have been shot dead in his face. That doesn't play like that around here. You don't do things like this to people like this, okay? Maybe have a conversation with the guy and say, I'm not comfortable with you being here. I really don't appreciate it, blah, 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 whatever. But you don't come at somebody like this, guys. Like I said, that guy would have been shot dead in his face if he'd have done that around here.
Fair warning. I don't like your fucking YouTube. You're making this fucking place look like a fucking clown. I'm gonna give you a fucking fair warning. Maybe you should call the cops and let them know about me, because I'm gonna give you one fucking fair warning. Maybe you don't think I'm fucking true. I'll drag you on the car. Right now. Leave this fucking place and don't come back. You understand?
Sorry for the language, folks.
Pull away so you can get the fuck out of here. I see you in fucking town today. Anywhere, I'm gonna fucking get you. Have a fucking good day, motherfucker. So you're free to fucking leave. Have a fucking good day, motherfucker. You think I'm really fucking playing with you, huh? Huh? You think I'm fucking playing with you, huh? You think I'm fucking playing with you, huh, motherfucker? Your mom told me I'm gonna come for you. Dude, you have no respect for this fucking place. You're just a piece of shit YouTube motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. How long do you think you're gonna last right now? I'm gonna make history over your fucking face, and when I do, I'm gonna smash it really fucking bad. Get the fuck out of here.
So that man, he has been identified as Kirk Adams, pulled out his car to block me because he didn't want me in the area. I don't know why, and came up and made serious threats towards me. And, you know, I just stayed quiet the entire time. Now, as soon as I left the scene, I did the responsible thing and I called 911 to report this guy. One, because he said he was going to do bodily harm on me if he sees me anywhere in Moscow, not just
Devil Doll, what's up, sis?
So 911 got called and officers arrived on the scene. I shared the video with the officers, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Why is this one cop wearing a helmet? I don't see a motorcycle or a bike or anything. I'm a little confused. is exactly, in my opinion, what needed to happen too. Oh, okay, I see the motorcycle now. There it is.
You pussy, Richie. You don't belong here, dude.
He got arrested. He got arrested. Guess he's charged. I don't know, but he's on the docket now. Actually charge him, I think, with assault or threatening. You know, whether you agree with someone or not, that's unacceptable. That guy actually has a history, a recent history, criminal history in Moscow, numerous charges of disturbing the peace. He has recent harassment charges, and I've spoken to others in the area, and he causes problems in the Moscow, Idaho area. He drives around in a like white, I don't know, SUV with a bunch of flags all over, and drives around Moscow. Other people I've known that've been around the Moscow, Idaho home, filming and documenting. He gets very hostile towards people and yells and, tries to kick people out of the area despite it being a public street. It's not his property. He has no interest whatsoever in that Moscow, Idaho home. He just doesn't like YouTubers and people filming. But, there's consequences. You just can't threaten people. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I am a victim now. I don't know eventually if they'll just cite him or what the situation is. But I wanted to share what was going on there. I think I handled it well. I want to thank the Moscow, Idaho police for being very, very professional in the matter, very kind and courteous, and taking swift action. After he got arrested, I continued to film and document. I was working with a crew and got good footage coming out in reference to that. The Brian Kohlberger case, I've been covering this case extensively on this channel. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Let me know what you think. It's a wild world out there, and I don't know what to say. So I want to hear your thoughts. I'll be watching the comments. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.
And there it is. Like I said.
And we've got some news out.
Like I said, guys, I don't always agree with everything he does and how he does things or whatever, but that's highly uncalled for, folks. You don't do that kind of thing. And obviously we see that the guy's got a history. I read something not too long ago. MCAW, good to see you. When I first looked at this, I went and checked out some stuff. Molly sent me some stuff I was looking at too, and he was on like one of the main thoroughways. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Rory, thanks for joining us, bud. Yeah, Dinky, I put the documents up yesterday. We covered them both. Lisa, good to see you. Kale Wingate, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Michelle Mack, welcome back. So yeah, like I said, guys, that kind of thing is dangerous. Like doing that stuff here, that guy could have been shot dead in his face. That's dangerous, folks. You don't do that to people. Katrina Miller, good to see you. Sunflower, welcome. Good to have you here. Brandy Joe, welcome back, dear. Good seeing you. I don't know. Not that. Nikki, welcome. I don't know. I mean, that's possible, Eddie. It could be possible. Eddie says about the jail art video, I think it looks a bit staged. Who knows? No matter what, it can't be proven, but I just want to say it. We live in a day and age where we can't believe everything we see, and that's sad. I agree with you, Eddie. That is sad. It's very sad, and it shouldn't be that way at this point. It really shouldn't. Winter Carnival 444. Thank you for joining us. Hey, I get it. I understand that point completely. Like I said, I don't, golf inspector, good to see you. Uh, I'm not a fan. I don't agree with how he does things, okay? But we can't be doing that kind of stuff. Stevie Irwin, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining us. you know, we just can't be doing that kind of stuff because it's dangerous. The guy himself is going to get himself hurt acting that way because not everybody will sit there and be silent and, stuff like that, not do something. Somebody's going to hurt that guy one day doing stuff like that. Renee, good to see you. Just saying, folks, it does happen. And I've heard of it happening a lot in Moscow. Rory has gone through some stuff there. Rory's not heading back to Moscow anytime soon either. It seems the town, Robin Shepherd, good to see you. It seems the town just is not fond of outsiders at this point. There's been a lot of people all over this town, news outlets, news outlets, all that kind of stuff. Tip Annie, good to see you. Did you see the 2 people arrested in Ada County for witness intimidation? One of them connected to Estes. Oh, did you see that, Rory? Miss Kim, thank you for joining us. Catalyst Do, thank you for joining us. Miss Carolyn Miller, always happy to see you. Gina from West Virginia, thank you for joining us. I don't think it was staged per se. Okay. I want you guys to see, Kjo, what's up? I want you guys to see, everything that's going on here, guys. Like I told you, we're moving on to other stuff, but I'm not letting go of anything that has to do with this case. And it needs to be seen. It needs to be seen. Jennifer S., thank you so much for that, dear. I appreciate you. You helped with that, my dear. Pebble says, I hate to say it, but you're right. It is what it is, Now, this guy obviously knew who he was. He said his name, Jonathan. Okay. The guy don't like him. I get it. Lots of people do. Lots of people do not like him. Okay. You don't threaten people that way. There's a way to do it. There really is a way to do it. You can very kindly talk to them. Susie Smith, thank you for joining us today. Told you so. Good to see you. Melly, not in keeping with Dago community. What are we talking about here? Nelly B, good to see you. So he's not going to go anywhere, guys. That's one thing I know. Knowing JLR, he's not going nowhere till he's done with what he's doing. He's filming. He says, Anina B, good to see you. He says he's filming a documentary. Jet Set J, good to see you. I've heard he's kind of backed off of his support. Yeah. Yep, that's what Rory's saying. That's Moscow for you right there. It is what it is. That's, I don't know. I'm sure not everybody's like that out there. Not that, Nikki. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. Andy Kane. Kelly King. He pretended to be a killer of 18 children's uncle for his own benefit. Oh, I don't know what that means, but that sounds pretty crazy. And that's it right there. Deborah, good to see you, dear. Jesse says he didn't even have to walk up to him and say anything. This guy doesn't like anyone. I don't care for JLR, but I'm not going to walk up to him and cuss him out. Right. We're adults, It's called class, guys. I have a little class, That guy definitely, in my opinion, has some mental health issues and needs to be dealt with in that sense. Thank you, Jesse. La, 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 la. Let me see. Thank you, Miss Brandy. Appreciate you guys so very much. This channel is 100% crowdfunded. I'm not a grifting channel, as I've been told that people think I am. All I do is promote the fact that this channel is funded by you guys. Any donations that I receive, which I want to thank anyone and everyone that has donated recently, I appreciate that. That definitely helps to keep me doing what I'm doing and keep coming out here to you guys. So I post the links for the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal so that I can do that, and that's all that I do. I appreciate that so very much for anybody that does help with that. You guys are amazing people. Tanya Clements, good to see you. That's the thing, you know. Yeah, right. No ideas, Chains. Joe RJ, good to see you. The freaking goofball wears shirts that say me. I know, guys. I know. I'm not doing this because I support JLR. I'm doing this because, regardless of who this is, you know, there's a lot of creators that don't like me, that don't agree with me. T-Rab and people like that don't. I don't want to see something like that happen to anybody, guys. I don't. People that don't like me, people I don't care for, or vice versa. I don't want to see anybody have to go through that. Okay, I don't. We're all still brothers and sisters under the same God, whether we get along or don't get along, or agree with each other or not. It doesn't need to happen. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. That guy, listen, be kind. Good to see you. You know, and that's it. He has the right to do that. Be kind. That's a great comment. Okay. Whether how he needs to maybe work on how he does it. Good to see you, Sleuthy. Thanks, sir. Yeah. Thanks for jumping in today. I appreciate you. We may not agree. Thank you, Stevie, with how he does things, what he does, how, you know, when he's doing it, whatever, but he still deserves the right to try and do how he's doing it, you know, just like the rest of us do. Maybe he needs to work on his tactics and his people skills. Fallon, good to see you. But what if that guy was completely unhinged? Michelle Noor. That's a good point. Tasha Williams, good to see you. What kind of rogue society would we have if we confronted everyone we dislike or disagree with in that manner? He is unhinged. Right. What if this guy was carrying weapons, okay, and he was like really completely unhinged? JLR could have been done right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's scary, folks. That's very scary to me. And a lot of us do go on the ground. Rory, JLR. There's a few other creators: Bullhorn, Betty, Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia, Dolly. They've been there on the ground in these places doing these things. Kim WI, good to see you. What are the odds? You know, one of these days somebody very well could hurt one of us. Okay, and I don't want to see that happen to anybody. I don't, you guys. Candy, good to see you. Let's see. She says, I don't condone any threats or violence, but I would love to know if this was reversed and in your hometown. Excuse me. How would you feel? I wouldn't want Raina. I agree with you. No. I agree with you on that part of it. Okay. But there's a way to do it. That way is not the way to do it. Violence is not the answer. You know, cussing somebody out. I personally, if it was me and I seen this and I was uncomfortable with it, I would have walked up, tapped on the window if it was rolled up, and said, "Hi, excuse me. What are we? Can I ask what you're doing?" If he responded politely, then yeah, we would have had a conversation, and I'd have just said, "I'm just letting you know that I'm not comfortable with you being here. This is my home, and so on and so forth, and we don't appreciate this." That's how I would have done this, guys. You guys know me. Not like that. Now, if I would have done that, attempting to have a nice conversation, and the person responded to me in a violent sort of way, things may have changed, but I still try to kill people with kindness. I really do. It's my way. I've learned it a long time ago, and it seems to work very well for me. But I do understand what you're saying, dear, and I can understand why you think that way. I absolutely get it. Okay, there's a way to do things and a way not to. That's all I'm saying. Sky, great to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us today. Right. Yep. And here's the thing, guys. Being an EMS and fire, I have dealt with so many people that have wanted to fight me, to scream at me, to attack me, this and that, and everything else. I can't be that way. I cannot respond that way to anybody. Okay. And you just have to be the best way you can. That's all I can say. Tommy Jude, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. CJ is in here, buddy. He's working, but he's in here. Thank you for joining me today, Tommy. Missify, thank you for joining me. All the shirts, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate you. So that is that part of it. And that's kind of how I felt about that. I wanted you guys to see like everything that goes on. Okay. As I said, just because we're moving forward with other cases does not mean
Jonathan Lee
that
Riches,
we're not. Thank you, Jonathan. That's enough for today. That we're not going to continue with Idaho, guys, because there's a lot to it. There's always going to be. So I would like to know more about what happened in Ada County. I can't find much of it on that right now, but hopefully soon we'll get some info. Rory gave me a little bit of an update. If you're welcome, Rory, to update if you'd like to on that situation from what you received. It was your info, my friend. Got to give credit where credit's due. What did we say? Jailer that happened before? Oh yeah. He's had that more, Jessica. He's had that happen more than once. It happened to him when he was covering Quentin Simon, when he was covering Gabby Petito. I mean, it's just people just don't like him. I get it. I think it's his personality, the way he approaches people. He says that he's all about business. It happened when he was doing Summer Wells too. He literally got into a fist fight. Somebody tried to fight him, which he didn't fight back. He called the police. Annette McBee, good to see you. But he was down in Tennessee and got into it. I think actually Don Wells tried to go at him once too. Kim says a young man, 24, UI student died. What is going on? What are we talking about, Miss Kim? I have no idea. Have not heard that. When, how, and what happened? His name is Jaden Gray. Bubbly posted overnight. Okay, I'll have to look into that, and I will bring it to you guys. I promise you. Criminology major. Interesting. And then there was that WSU child. Yeah, that one passed away too. Bad Slave, good to see you. Dago, have you heard the chant? It's round on the ends and high in the middle. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Thank you. Jess says he's a football player for the university. Wow. Another one. This is ridiculous. Spirit in the sky. Good to see you. Yeah, that's the saying. He went after Bullhorn too. I can do that, Mrs. M. No problem, dear. Thank you. And then I'm going to get pushing forward with the other. I got some people don't like when I talk to you guys for some reason, so I'm trying to keep it rolling, folks. My apologies if I'm taking too long. I just like to be fully interactive. That's what I've always done. Always done it. All right, what's going on here? Hold on a minute. All right, I got it slowed down. Hopefully that's good enough for you guys. And again, moving forward, venue for Coburger will probably move. Hopefully, I think it's gonna have to. And I agree with that. Amy Danielle, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. New faces in here. I love it. So, I know this is going to be rough for some people. You know, I've had some comments from people about, you know, moving into new cases and so on and so forth. But we do need to show some attention to some new stuff, folks. That it deserves it, you know. And there's nothing new today with this Idaho case. And I will, every time there is something new, I will be bringing it to you. But we do need to add, you know, some stuff out here, guys, that we got to throw some attention to. What am I missing here? Where did I see these pop up? I didn't see these pop up. Looks like super chats. Or did I? I don't think I did. The one, at least, I didn't. Whoever's dropped that, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it was because chat was moving so fast. Whoever dropped the 1999 super chat, thank you so very much for that. I absolutely do appreciate you. And my apologies for not seeing it. It might have happened when the video was playing. So, oh, okay, Miss Helen Kirby, I see it now for $10. Thank you for that. Just wanted to say thank you for looking for the truth and giving us all free speech. Oh, absolutely, Miss Helen, and thank you for being you and being here and just supporting what we're doing out here. I absolutely love you all for that. So thank you, Miss Helen. And I did have another one I didn't see. Again, it must have been when the video was rolling. So I try to catch up and thank everybody that does these. So my apologies, folks. I don't see it. The 1999 one. I don't see a tag or anything. I don't even see who it was. My deepest apologies for not seeing that. Like I said, it had to roll through when I was running the video. And then, like I said, if the chat was flying, yeah, that's it. But either way, I absolutely appreciate both and all of you and all of that 100% for that. So thank you once again. You are appreciated. There we go. Moving forward. Oh yeah, my overhead. It's blinking away, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Sorry. Thank you. There we go. All right. Okie dokie 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 doo. One moment, folks. All right. Just to kick this off, Gage Phillips, welcome. All right. I'm going to start you guys off. For those of you that aren't familiar at all, I'll give you something that's kind of from the beginning, I guess we could say. And then we'll roll forward because there's a lot to it. All right. This will kind of give you guys the story, get it kicked off. so that you can understand. Then we'll delve into throughout the days here because it's going to take a while. We'll be digging into all of the deep, interesting, crazy stuff that's involved. There's a lot. Good stuff there. Rest in peace. Absolutely. All right. For those of you, oh, we are Sherry. We're following that one too. I have been following the Sarah Boone case. They keep pushing her court date ahead. I'm waiting for the trial to start. I already covered that one months ago. As soon as the trial kicks on or anything that happens with it, it's right here, and I'll have it for you guys. Yeah, I've been following that one from the very beginning too. There just hasn't been anything new. They keep pushing the trial ahead, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how or why. Her case is a little bit different. There's not much that they have to find on it. So, but yeah, we're covering that one too. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. CJ was covered West Memphis recently. There's a lot. There's a lot that we're going to be connected to here that I've already been connected to. Throwback Thursdays, I'm going to be kicking back and revisiting some of the cases we have visited. Summer Wells, Kylie Rodney, Deborah Collier, other cases that are in the back, things like that. So we're going to be doing it, guys. Why does this keep timing me out? Melly Mel, I wonder what was it, Adam? What was the truth about the boy that was found dead? That's true, too. Melly Mel. What keeps timing you out? Jet Set J. I see everything that's going on. Jet Set. That's okay, Casey. Thank you for that. I appreciate you guys worrying about me. Yeah, September now, right? It's ridiculous. For those of you that were worried about me yesterday, thank you for worrying about me. I appreciate you so very much. Kara, good to see you. Great video. I watched it this morning, by the way. Very, very nice. Good job on that, Kara. Okay. And here's what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to get into this here, go over it, just kind of give the basics to you guys to show you what's going on, talk about this. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about after these videos and towards the end of every show, if you guys have things, questions, comments you want to make about Idaho, I'm going to allow for that. If we're not actually talking about Idaho the day of, at the end of the show, before I get ready to before I get ready to end or anything like that, I will definitely take any questions, comments, theories, anything you guys want to talk about with that too. So, like I said, we're not going to be letting it go. Just moving on to some other stuff too. At 30 seconds. Okay, hold on 1 second, folks. 1 second. Yesterday it was hammered and it was going really fast. So I was trying to keep it right about where I put it yesterday, but that's okay. Hold on. All right, hopefully that slows it and it's not too slow. There we go. Sorry, folks. Sometimes these things are hard to get. Doc Terry is here. Miss Kim, thank you. All right, back to where we were. All right.
More than a week after authorities arrested suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann, investigators are searching his Long Island home. They continue to search his Long Island home, while authorities in Nevada, South Carolina, and New Jersey are looking for any links between Heuermann and cold cases there. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has the latest.
Law enforcement sources say authorities are searching the Massapequa Park home of Rex Heuermann, suspected in the murders of 3 sex workers, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, trying to determine whether he allegedly killed any of the victims inside the home.
They're going to look for anything they could potentially get genetic material off of, like personal effects that he had taken from the victim, clothing, whatever it might be. If he used any sort of implement, like a knife or something like that, to harm them.
The 59-year-old architect has pleaded not guilty to the crimes. Heuermann's wife of more than 25 years, Asa Ellerup, seen here in a photo obtained by FoxNews.com, has filed for divorce. In a statement, her lawyer called this a devastating time for the family. Prosecutors say phone records show Heuermann's wife was out of town when each of the victims disappeared.
He had a family, he had a wife, he had 2 kids. But what he did at night, he was a different human being and a dangerous individual.
The investigation has now expanded to 3 other states. Heuermann and his wife owned a timeshare at this condo complex in Las Vegas. Police there now looking into possible connections to unsolved cases there. In Rock Hill, South Carolina, police trying to determine if Heuermann could be connected to the 2014 disappearance of Aaliyah Bell. The 18-year-old went missing about 20 miles from the vacant lots Heuermann owned there. And in New Jersey, police looking to see if there's a link between Heuermann and 4 women working as prostitutes killed near Atlantic City in 2006. Their bodies found in a watery ditch. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, New York.
All right, and that's just kick that off, guys. Grew up 20 minutes from this guy. It's crazy. I know this guy's a mess. This case is a mess. It is. It really is. Unsolved Crimes. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Joy Perry, good to see you. Thank you, Joy. Oh, yes, of course. And I appreciate you. It's been a while. Thank you for jumping in here. Carol Travis, good to see you. Excuse me. All right, all right. Let me see here. Okay, moving forward. All right, now this will give you guys the whole thing on it, and then we'll catch up, like I said. And like I said, by Fallon, I see a comment you made there. I think podcasters are missing a lot by pulling out of covering Moscow like it's an old case now. And that I'm just letting you know that this channel's not pulling out of covering it. I'm just adding things to my docket, I guess you could call it, for now to do. I'm adding extra. I can't click on links in chat, Mandy. You can put it in the I don't know how you could do this. Okay. I'll tell you what, Mandy, do this. Okay. Let me do this for you real quick. Click this link in the chat and then come backstage, and then you can put it in the private chat. Okay. You don't have to come on panel. Just do that real quick. Click the link at the bottom of the screen. Or yeah, that's better. You can email me. No worries, dear. Okay. Anywho, I want you guys to check this out. This gives you kind of the whole ins and outs. But like I was saying, Fallon, I'm not walking away from this case. I'm not covering it. It's not an old case. I'm not going to allow anything to go cold on it. I'll be covering it every day, talking about things on it every day. Anytime anything new comes out, we're going to cover it like a regular everything that we normally do. But I have to pay some attention to some of these other cases. That's all. But yeah, this channel for sure. I don't know any other creators if they're backing out of it. They shouldn't, but I definitely not walking away. So please don't think this channel is doing that, because you're right. There's new things coming out every other day and this and that, and I will have them just like I always have for you guys. Thank you, Miss Mandy. I appreciate that very much. Okay, here we go. All right, moving forward with this, and then we'll check this presser out too that Mandy has here for us. This has been going on for a bit, guys. So, like I said, pay attention, because there's a lot to this, and we're going to be covering a lot of other stuff that's come out recently with this. And once again, there's talk that there is police corruption involved with this. So, again, it's very sad. Sorry, guys. I don't know why that did that, because it was cleared and filtered. Does not make sense to me. But I'll fix it. Sorry, folks. Some of these things have certain tags on them that they don't want out there, so I have to fix it. That's all. No worries. Yeah, there's a copyright on it, I guess, so no biggie. My apologies, folks. I hate when that happens. I may not be able to show you that one then. I guess I'll have to give you a different one and we'll put it together. 1 second here.
To these fans.
1 second, everybody. Again, my apologies. Okay. I'll give you this part and it'll just go piece to piece. the Shannon Gilbert. The first thing I'm going to do then is thank you, Mandy. I appreciate it. Absolutely, Iris. No worries. All right, I'm going to give you the 911 calls for Shannon Gilbert real quick, and then we'll push forward with another part of this. All right, here we go. Yeah, I feel bad about that guy. Sorry.
In Suffolk County today released those tapes, hoping to help unravel the 12-year-old GILGO Beach mystery. Today, a bit of a shocking finding. Police now say that they do not believe that Shannon Gilbert's death is a case of murder.
But they hope this and other evidence they decided to release today will help them solve what has been a rather embarrassingly long unsolved cases of mass murder, the murders or other kinds of deaths of 7 other people in Suffolk County and 3 others in Nassau County.
Eyewitness News reporter Kristen Thorne is live in Brentwood with our lead story tonight. Kristen.
Liz and Bill, police have been saying for quite some time that they weren't exactly sure if Gilbert was murdered or if she died in a marsh near GILGO Beach. But after hearing these calls today, it does sound like that is a possible scenario.
No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please stop it. Please stop it. No.
In the 23-minute 911 phone call released by police from 2010, we hear Shannon Gilbert go from scared for her life to confused.
Why are you calling me by my name?
What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
Let's go back to Manhattan.
Police say that's the voice of Michael Pack, Gilbert's bodyguard. Police say Pack drove Gilbert to the home of Joseph Brewer in Ocean Beach. Brewer had hired Gilbert, who was a sex worker.
At some point during the meeting with Brewer, Shannon reportedly began acting irrational.
Please, can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please, something's going to happen to me.
There's nobody outside. You're okay, right?
After that, Gilbert runs out of the house. She starts knocking on people's doors. Those people call 911 too.
43 the Bayou. Some woman is knocking at my door. She says she's in danger.
The last thing we hear on the call is Gilbert running again. Police say they believe Gilbert ran into this marsh in GILGO, which would have looked like this at the time that night. They believe that's where Gilbert died.
Right now, we believe it's a tragic accident.
Police do not believe Gilbert's death is related to the murders of other sex workers whose remains were later found in GILGO. For the first time, they're explaining why.
In this case, she's found on the south side of the parkway. In all the other cases, they're found on the north side of the parkway. In this case, our victim called 911. None of the other cases resulted in 911 calls. She's found with her identification with her. She's found with money with her, with cash with her. There's no effort to conceal her body.
So I think the real news today is that for the first time after all of these years, we have police acknowledging that they do not believe that Shannon Gilbert's death is related to the other murders of sex workers found in this area of GILGO Beach. And that is very big news. Police say that Brewer and Pack, if you were curious about them, they say that they fully cooperated with this investigation and they're not considered suspects in anything at this time.
All right, there's that. Those, I wanted you guys to hear that part of it. This was his arrest moving forward, because they're saying now that she's not connected with it. I don't know. It's sad, but
Developing tonight, it has been 12 years and 7 months since the remains of Buffalo native Melissa Bartholomew were discovered near the side of a Suffolk County road. After no breakthroughs in the case for over a decade, tonight a suspected serial killer is in custody. Good evening, I'm Mary Alice Demler. Scott is off tonight. Two on Your Side's Nate Benson explains the details of the high-profile arrest in the case of the GILGO Beach murders.
Rex Sherman is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families.
In December 2010, the remains of 10 people were found near Ocean Parkway in Suffolk County, New York. Nearly 13 years later on Thursday night, 59-year-old Rex Heuermann was arrested in Manhattan and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of second-degree murder. That includes the death of Buffalo native Melissa Barthelemy. She went missing in July 2009. At the time, she was working as an escort, a trend the district attorney says is consistent in the case.
They all did the same thing for a living. They all advertised the same way. And there were immediately similarities with regard to the crime scenes.
According to police, the women, including Barthelemy, were tied up and covered with camouflaged burlap sacks. Male hair was found in one of the burlap sacks, according to the bail application in the case.
For each of the murders, he got an individual burner phone, and he used that to communicate with the victims. Then shortly after the death of the victims, he then would get rid of the burner phone.
In March of last year, 6 weeks after a task force was formed on the case, law enforcement identified Heuermann as a suspect.
We had him under surveillance. We had other means of monitoring him.
And continued to keep an eye on what he was doing over the course of the next year.
We were able to use fictitious or fraudulent email addresses and get Google warrants, and from there, we got his searches.
Those warrants turned up evidence that Heuermann allegedly searched for information about the GILGO Beach murders over 200 times. Heuermann had little to say in court Friday afternoon.
The only thing I can tell you that he did say as he was in tears was, "I didn't do this."
We are going to hold him responsible for what he did in this case.
Lynn Barthelemy spoke to Claudine Ewing in 2011, shortly after Melissa's remains were found. After Heuermann's arrest, Lynn simply told Two on Your Side, "I'm just relieved." According to court documents, investigators were able to link Heuermann to the crime scene discovered in 2010 from a pizza box he threw out in January of this year. Lab technicians were able to match his DNA from pizza crust to the hair found in the burlap sack. On Your Side in the newsroom, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.
From ABC7 New York, this is Eyewitness News Extra
A body
Time.
has been found in Oak Beach, and police believe there may be other bodies out there.
Yeah, and Liz, this is the barrier island to the south of the town of Babylon. An extensive search that goes on for a good mile along the bay here south of the town of Babylon. You could see crime scene investigators there, and then, Tony, if you want to come back out, you could see behind me, and then clear up the beach right here. There are multiple outposts here where they're right now sifting through the sand and looking for human remains. We know right now that they can confirm in the last couple of days they have found 2 bodies. We believe skeletal remains, one on Saturday, one today, and we're told possibly more.
There sure were more. It's hard to imagine, surreal in fact, that it's been 12 and a half years since I stood on the beach in the bitter cold. That was December of 2010. Now here we are in July of 2023, and I'm standing in front of the home of a suspected serial killer.
13 years, folks, 13 years.
Island. This is Eyewitness News Extra Time. We're glad you're joining us for this special edition of our streaming show tonight, when we are talking about the GILGO Beach serial killer, the GILGO Beach murders. 10 sets of human remains which were discovered in gruesome fashion along the Ocean Parkway, which spans between Jones Beach and Robert Moses State Park 13 years ago practically now. We can show you exclusive video that Eyewitness News just obtained from last night in Midtown Manhattan, when the suspect in at least as many as 4 of those killings was finally, after all this time, taken into custody. 59-year-old Rex Heuermann, who is an architect in the city but lives here in Massapequa Park, went without incident with Suffolk and state police investigators, a whole task force who have actually, we are told now, been tracking him for months. Mugshot now, as he was booked into the Suffolk County Jail. He was arraigned on murder charges involving 3 of the GILGO victims, and a 4th is likely as well. Eyewitness News reporter Stacey Sager was in court for Heuermann's first appearance today.
I agree with that, Nellie.
He was taken to court this afternoon and said nothing to reporters. But Rex Heuermann did tell his defense attorney he denies all the charges.
The only thing
That's
I
a
can tell you
big
that he did
dude.
say as he was in tears was, I didn't do this.
But local, state, and federal authorities on Long Island outlining today years of quiet evidence collection leading to an indictment against Heuermann for at least 3 GILGO murders, that of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. And they say Rex Heuermann is likely to be charged in a 4th, the murder of Maureen Brainard Barnes. The pattern?
All the women were bound at the head, at the midsection, or at the chest, and later at the legs. They were bound by burlap. The burlap was camouflage burlap used to hide, purposely hide the bodies.
The indictment against him reading like a movie thriller, saying Heuermann used at least 7 burner phones he would toss after his alleged crimes, but not before taking selfies like these to find his victims. Federal investigators were tracking the cell phone activity to 4 separate towers around the area of Massapequa Park, where they converged today. But they say Heuermann was positively ID'd back in March of 2022. First, after a witness described him, then a description matching his Chevy pickup truck, then data listing his address in the so-called box. Here, Massapequa Park, where all the cell calls were being traced.
Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families.
But there is more work to do. Other victims not linked to Heuermann, their families also at court today, without closure, but hopeful.
Full justice is all the cases being closed.
There needs to be far more investigation, and maybe the dam will have broken with this fellow.
And remember, there are at least 6 other GILGO victims. Investigators have long believed there could be more than one killer. But as for today's indictment, 6 counts of murder.
There's more. There's more coming, folks.
Potential sentence of life in prison without parole. The judge telling Heuermann he'll be held without bail. In Riverhead, I'm Stacey Sager, Channel 7. Eyewitness News.
We had been hearing for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years, that the investigation had been jump-started with the assistance of the FBI, which has much more sophisticated DNA matching.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, cowboy, for sure.
Than the Suffolk Police Department was able to bring to bear. And so we can show you some video of actually images that we saw in the criminal complaint in Suffolk County Court today. Investigators found selfies that Heuermann allegedly took with those burner phones, which he then posted online to search for escorts, to search for sex, frankly, and perhaps lure his alleged victims. We also learned about how they used DNA to match him to the victims with whom he is charged. Hairs that did not match those victims that belonged to a man that were found on the scene so many years ago. Well, investigators, once they were on to Heuermann, they waited for him to throw out some trash. He threw out a pizza box, and on that pizza box, according to the indictment, was a crust inside the box that he had not completed eating. And from that pizza crust, they were able to find enough of his DNA to match with the hair found on the victims at the scene. And that was a key piece of evidence that helped get to this location, this point today. Back live here in Massapequa Park, this is a very small residential bedroom community. A lot of law enforcement people live in this neighborhood, and a lot of working law enforcement now have surrounded the house where Heuermann lives with his wife and 2 children. Eyewitness News reporter Christian Thorne spent the day here in this neighborhood with how people are reacting to the alleged serial killer next door.
It's a shocker. It's scary.
A crime that has captivated the world, a true crime story of movies and books, has come down to this quiet neighborhood in Massapequa Park. Neighbors still can't believe one of the suspected GILGO Beach killers was living among them.
Oh my God, I think I know who it is.
The crowds only grew throughout the day, from neighbors to people from all over Long Island who wanted to get a glimpse of Rex Heuermann's house. They saw the investigators in hazmat suits, a car being towed out of Heuermann's driveway, and something else hidden under a large tarp. It was like watching a movie. And for those who have been armchair detectives on this case for years, it's a day they never thought they would actually see.
I saw it on Facebook this morning, and I was at work, and I was just like, listen, I got to take some personal time. I got to go down here because this is a big case.
Shocked, but, we got to see how it plays out, too. We're talking about the GILGO 4, so,
you all know that's not the end of the story, right? We still got the Manorville stuff. We still got a lot of the, you know, the other victims.
And yet he is correct. While we know.
And that's facts. That's facts, folks. We're going to be looking into all that. There is so much with this one. There's a lot. And you guys are going to see. It's, I hate to say, use this word for this because it doesn't sound right to me to say it. It's so interesting. There's so much with it. It's horrible. And this guy is literally, this guy is a monster, folks. Facts on facts. He's a monster, which is why we're covering this. And I need you guys to support on this one because it needs looked at, because there's more. I think there's more that they don't even know about yet. Okay. That's what, from what I've seen on it all and what I've been looking at over the years, corrupt law enforcement, there's doctors involved. Yeah, I just saw that page. Thank you, dear. I'll be doing something. I am a huge fan of hers. Her music is amazing to me. Always has been. So I'll be doing something for that along with my kind of celebratory stream or whatever I do to do that this week in regards to that. So, but thank you guys for putting that in here. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, Renee, definitely cover-ups, lots and lots of it. It's this is insane, folks. And it just, once again, as we look around our world, we're surrounded. Yes. Yep, Sinead O'Connor. I have a high respect for her and her music. She's a beautiful person. Inside, outside, it's horrifying to even think about losing these people that we do, you know. Yep, another one, Willie. Taylor Shabusiness, or however you say her name. She's another one. It's insane. I was just talking with Dolphin about that this morning. It's there's so many of these things around us, guys. It's scary. Yeah, I can agree with that, Carol. Patty Barnett says he's probably been a monster for years before that. And that, you know what's scary about this? This man was living in a suburban area with his wife, his kids, like nothing happened. Nothing was going on. This is what scares me about society nowadays. I'm telling you. That's why we bring this stuff to you guys, to give you the eyes on it, to see it. Like, wow, this happens in everyday life. I told you guys once before. I believe so, Green Punk. They did add 2 more charges, I believe. So there's more. There is more coming, guys. I'm going to show you what's been going on with this. It's crazy. Right, Devil. It's horrible. She's going to be missed. She was so amazing. So beautiful inside and out. So amazing. Peach's needs identified. What did I miss here? Corruption everywhere. That's another thing too, Crystal. That's another reason why we're talking about this. It's horrible. Mr. Gow's right. Sinead battled mental health for years. I mean, years. Back when we were kids, folks. She had issues, you know. That's right, Willie. They're all around us. It is so scary. That's true too, Tanya. Thank you, Stevie. All right, guys, let's push this one forward here.
Know that Rex Heuermann is considered a suspect in several of these murders. He is not in all the other human remains that have been found at GILGO Beach throughout the years. So the mystery around this case will continue. In Massapequa Park, I'm Kristen Thorne, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And that's a key point that Kristen just made there. There were, in the end, actually 10 sets of human remains discovered along the Ocean Parkway. And very early on, investigators, and we could show you video from back then when we were there watching them search both sides of the parkway. Early on, investigators were telling us they believed this was the work of at least 2 different distinct people. That's because one set of human remains, actually the remains found first, were basically completed sets of remains wrapped in burlap. The rest of them, that was 4 women. The other 6 victims were in much more of a sense of disarray, were scattered much farther across Ocean Parkway, and had obviously been there for much longer. So in this case, Heuermann is charged only with 3 of those first 4, the 4th likely to be added in the future. But it does speak to how complicated this investigation has been, and that has not been helped by corruption at the top of the Suffolk County Police Department, which significantly delayed progress here for years.
Just hang on, typically. Where do you see this?
History of this gruesome case.
All 4 bodies were found in heavy brush within 500 yards of one another, dumped over the course of 18 months along a remote stretch of Ocean Parkway, 40 miles from New York. Detectives believe it happened in the middle of the night, that the killer chose the same desolate location each time, pulling onto the shoulder, switching off his lights, and dragging the body out of his vehicle, dumping it no more than 25 feet off the roadside. It would be several years
I agree,
before the
Paige.
first body would be discovered. A wider search revealed 3 others, all women, bound with tape or leather belts and identified through DNA. All had disappeared between 2007 and 2010. In the months that followed, more bodies would be recovered in the brush farther west, a total of 8 women, a man, and an infant. Prosecutors have charged Rex Heuermann for the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, all sex workers. And investigators say he is the prime suspect in the murder of the 4th, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Investigators say the technology and the expertise of the FBI are what cracked the case. ABC News contributor Rich Frankel is a former FBI special agent in charge.
What do you think investigatively made the difference, Rich?
So I think it was the analytics and the forensics.
But for years, the FBI was kept out of the case. Frankel blames former Suffolk Police Chief James Burke, who was later indicted and convicted in an unrelated corruption case.
He was, I think, the biggest hindrance to bringing the FBI in. We'd asked to go in, and we were denied.
Do you think this case could have been solved sooner?
I don't know if the case could have been solved sooner, but I think there could have been a lot more movement on the case sooner. They did assist in trying to locate other bodies in that area. So there was some work being done, but the problem was that once we did the work and handed it over to the Suffolk DA, we never got it back.
N.J. Burke at Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And for more on this landmark case, we have a very important guest. Bob Boyce was the chief of detectives at the NYPD. He's now an ABC News contributor. Bob, thanks so much for joining us. It's good to talk to you.
Good to be here, Josh. Thank you.
So, and we're on a bit of a delay because we're both out of the studio, so everyone forgive that. But I'm curious what your first reaction was when you woke up this morning and you heard the news. Was this a surprise to you that they finally made this amount of progress?
I was surprised, but I wasn't shocked. I know that Commissioner Harrison had created a task force, fresh eyes, as he called it, on the investigation. This case turned very few weeks into the task force when the trooper did the lawman search that identified the car, the perpetrator's car, and that brought them to the house. They identified some more information on the car itself. There's an ornamentation on the car. So they had their name early on. Now you build a case around that. They had a subject and they moved forward on it. Great job by the commissioner. Great job by the task force. Kudos to them. Now I'm wondering, that house behind you, Josh, I have a little concern about that too. Where did this man commit the crimes? Where did he bind these women up? That's my point when I look behind the house behind you.
Because it's a great question, Bob, because one of the things that we learned in the criminal complaint today is that they have cell phone records that show that the suspect's wife was out of town.
I agree on that one, Cowboy.
He was involved with the women who ended up dead on the side of Ocean Parkway. So would that be would that be a reason why they've been there all day? They're looking for forensic evidence. And how long would that potentially last? It's been 12, 13 years.
Well, it's different. It's my point exactly. That where did this happen? He met them. The burner phones with key information that helped to the FBI.
No, what I was saying, I agree with that. Like J. Rod just said, that she was out of town. It's just weird that her hair ended up all over. That's why I'm saying it's odd. It could have just been that, his wife has, long hair. It's all over the house, whatever. It just states that he had them in the house and was doing different things in the house when she wasn't there. It's just strange that this man lived a life like many other people do and was doing this, like a lot of these people do. Yeah, I heard that too. Michelle says, Michigal says that heard that his wife and kids were living on food stamps. This case is so crazy, guys. I'm telling you. Yeah, women's hair does. That's what I'm saying. It goes everywhere. It could have been anywhere on the bed, anywhere. Yeah, she probably did do laundry. That's a fact. It is, Devil, and it gets better. Well, not better. It gets worse, actually, I should say. There's things that you're not going to believe. So, Jennifer Romero, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. And Nikki Animakes, welcome.
But that trooper's thing, getting that front door, that individual, getting that car back, and looking at there. So they'll take their time. They're going to look to see if there's all of his accounts, what he bought online. This man.
Good evening, Kathy Brady.
You have to
good
really
to see
expose
you.
that secret life with all
the way from Dublin, Ireland.
Doing, especially those purchases that forward the burner phones, how we take people up to burlap. That's all key stuff here. See what they find in that house in the next couple of days.
Do they need physical evidence of a crime, of a homicide, to make this case? Or in your opinion, from what you've seen, do they already have a good enough case against him?
Josh, when you pile all this evidence together, it becomes compelling. Who else could have done it? And look, you're going to expose his secret life and what he's done. Now, he's already been indicted, so he has an absolute right to cancel. You can't talk to him. But there's enough evidence here that's gone forward. This has been over a year since I identified him. So they've had a long time to put this case together, and they did a really good job. And they brought everybody to bear on this individual. So I think it's the DNA, all these took their role.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're on this bit of a delay, but let me ask you about that long time. You obviously were in the detective bureau at the NYPD. You had a part of this case because one of the victims was from the Bronx. There's well-documented, dysfunction that for years hampered this investigation at Suffolk County. And I guess I'm curious, from everything you know about how this works and how it worked when Commissioner Harrison got involved.
Welcome, Joanne.
This is right on the county line. If this had all happened, if the discoveries had been made in Nassau County, would it have taken this long?
It's hard to say, but I'll tell you that doorman search has been around a long time. You had an eyeball on the perpetrator's car, or what could have been the perpetrator's car. So that should have been forwarded much more quickly than it was. And there's a lot of things. Technology changes. Those burner phones, the DA said there was 7 of them. You have to really track that down. You need the feds and their abilities.
Thanks for joining us, Margaret. We'll see you soon.
I had never had a problem on calling the FBI and ask for help, and anybody else, the troopers as well. The more people you have in this fight, the better off you're going to be.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Retired Chief of Detectives of the NYPD. Always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for helping us understand all of this. It's such a fascinating case.
Be well, Judge. Thank you. I'm going to be careful with you.
Yeah, thank you. Will do. So Bob Boyce offering us that insight. This has been a momentous day for people on Long Island, frankly, for true crime.
Welcome, Draw. It's great to see you, dear.
This whole case became such an international spectacle. There were documentaries, there were movies, TV movies produced about this, and now there's been this seismic development and arrest in at least some of the victims who were found along Ocean Parkway near GILGO Beach. Of course, there are 6 other victims who investigators believe were victimized, were murdered, were then dumped by someone entirely different from Rex Heuermann. So that investigation, of course, continues. And of course, the investigation, the Heuermann case, is only now just beginning. As you heard Bob Boyce suggest, it's probably going to be days that they're going to be going over this house here. They've had 12, 13 years that he's had a jump start on getting ahead of investigators, and they've got to scour that house for any physical evidence they can find. We're going to have the very latest on all of these developments coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. More also from Midtown Manhattan, outside Heuermann's architecture firm, where he was taken into custody last night. But for now, that is the very latest live from Massapequa Park, Long Island. I'm Josh Einiger on Eyewitness News Extra Time. Have a great evening.
What is going on, Jay? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping in today.
One day after they had a description of this man. They had a description of his very unique vehicle. Someone who had an interaction one day before one of the victims went missing. And an eyewitness who actually saw this guy and described him and his car. And it's not like, oh yeah, average height. No. Not anything but average, like huge Frankenstein-sized guy. And a very unusual vehicle as well, a Chevy Avalanche. How many of those are there out in Long Island and Massapequa? Not a ton. And that was one of the pieces of evidence that they looked at after all these years when they got people together. And that's how they end up putting the pieces together with information that they had 13 years ago? What's going on here? Well, we're going to dive into the problems with this investigation and why it was delayed for all these years this hour with some people who know a lot about what was going on in terms of law enforcement, politics, everything out in Long Island. This case should have been solved a long, long time ago, in my opinion. So let's begin, though, with the latest in this case, in the investigation. And there's been a lot of focus on the house of the accused killer. And we're getting some images now of what's going on in the yard. Look at that. You see the yellow excavator scooping dirt in the backyard on Sunday. Still at the house today. You can see from some of this drone footage what is going on there. It's an obvious place to look, right? The guy lived here for years and years and years. You're going to get rid of evidence, maybe get rid of it. They're dismantling a deck area. They're scanning.
Great point, KT.
Are they going to find anything? What would you expect to find? How do you go through the earth to find stuff without destroying evidence as well? This is an investigation where, yeah, they have some evidence now, but you always want more because it's always going to be challenged, especially in a high-profile case like this. But this is where a lot of the focus is now. So let's start there and talk about what's happening at the house. Joining us tonight in New York City, senior reporter from the U.S. Sun, Luke Kenton, back with us. And in Jacksonville, Alabama, forensic death investigator, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, and the host of the very popular Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan, with us. Great to see you both. So, Luke, what are you hearing about the search of the property out there in Massapequa?
Yeah, there's been a great deal of police presence at the home since Rex Heuermann's arrest on July 13th. Over the last few days, that search seems to have intensified somewhat. We've had cadaver dogs present in the yard of the home. They've deployed sonar devices
Agreed.
To look down into the ground, and also, you've seen heavy machinery there digging up and excavating the earth around the property. I think particularly the existence of canines and sonar is an interesting development. That seems to me to signal that perhaps police are looking for human remains on the property, and perhaps there are additional victims that we're not yet privy to, buried somewhere on that yard. Additionally, they'll be looking for other items of evidence, perhaps murder weapons, buried trophies. One of Rex's neighbors came forward last week and said during his time living next to Rex, around the time of the murders, he'd hear digging in the backyard at strange hours of the night and strange times of the morning as well. So that certainly seems to be something police are following up on. And we know that they're working with the theory that perhaps Rex lured some of these victims to his home and murdered at least one of the women there.
So Joseph Scott Morgan, the last time we were looking at a huge excavation in a backyard, it was Chad Daybell out in Idaho. We know they found significant evidence there, tragic but significant evidence. What are your thoughts about what's going on in the yard and the property there?
Well, they certainly have things set up very similar, actually, to the way Idaho was set up. You see multiple sites that they're taking this evidence to. There's one shot that our producers showed just a second ago, this tinted area. It's a covered area, and yeah, there you go. That area that you would see them working in,
That's
just
awesome,
imagine
Jay.
each one of those buckets that comes up with earth in it is taken to that area, and it will be sifted through, like you see on an archaeological dig many times, sifted through looking for any kind of fragmented bone or any kind of...
Jay, you're welcome to jump up here if you have anything you want to talk on this. I'd love to hear from it, especially since you were at the house, brother. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you're interested. I'd love to have you jump up here and, person to person, talk about it, being at the house. That's an interesting perspective, for sure, my friend, for sure. Let me know. I can drop you a link and you can jump right on up here and we can have a conversation about it. I'd love to hear about it. What's up, Seema? Yeah, I know, guys. If you haven't checked him out yet, please do. If we can drop that link again. Jay has a great show. Great show, guys. Love it. Hey, man, is correct me if I'm wrong. Your wife, Shannon. I believe you guys, she's your wife. I didn't know if she's your wife or your girlfriend, but either way, amazing people, both of them. Like I said, brother, I'd love to hear what you have to say about being there. If you're comfortable with it, come on up, sir. Just let me know and I will drop you the link. Lost Souls, good to see you. Yes. Absolutely, my friend. Let me know when you're ready. I'd love to hear from you. Did you guys drop the link for it? Yeah, he's great. He's over there on Publicly Buzzed a lot. Great stuff. Shannon's amazing. These guys are great guys. I'm telling you, you cannot miss it. Where's the link at, folks? There he is. There's the link. Please check it out. And he's going to jump up here and give us a little in-person conversation about what he experienced. Because this case it's nuts, folks. It really is. I'll play this until I see. Just say you're ready, buddy, in the chat. I'll drop a link. We'll play through this some more until we get you in, and we'll have our conversation.
kind of items that might be in there. You can find jewelry, you can find all kinds of things. However, what's very striking about this, Vin, is the fact that this is a very blunt tool that they're using. I don't know what can be inferred by that, but it's covering a lot of ground at one time. They're taking out big scoops. It's not like a traditional archaeological dig where you have the area kind of gridded off into particular areas where you're working each individual grid. They're taking up big gobs of earth at that point in time. So it'll be very interesting to see how this kind of plays out. Another shot that you guys are showing right there, if we can hold that for a moment, you see those cellar doors, and that's very intriguing to me as well, because that's out of sight. We've got a lot of vegetation in the backyard, so you're not going to be able to appreciate what might be going on the other side of the hedgerow. However, now with drone technology, you can see all kinds of things.
Absolutely. Now, something else that a lot of people were talking about is what's going on inside the house. You know, did he have like this room, which was just his room where no one else was allowed? And then rumors that it may have been a sound soundproof room in the basement of the home. Here's Rodney Harrison, who's been pretty forthcoming throughout this part of the investigation with information. He's the Suffolk County Police Commissioner. Here's what he had to say about the rumors of the soundproof room.
I do, Renee. Hold on.
Not a soundproof. There is a vault. We've secured numerous amount of guns. And somehow, I believe that the soundproof room in the vault, that was true. There is a vault. There's no soundproof.
All right, Luke, what do we know about what was found in that basement? We heard the commissioner there talk about a vault.
Yeah, the confusion between the soundproof room actually came from a neighbour late last week who said that they were told by a police officer on the scene that this soundproof room had been discovered. That information was slightly misconstrued. What it actually is a walk-in vault in the basement, which we did know a little bit about before. In that vault, Rex Heuermann was storing somewhere between 200 to 300 firearms, which is certainly a very excessive amount. Around 90 of those he had a permit for, but the rest seemed to be unaccounted for at this time. Beyond that, we don't actually know what else was found in the basement. But
hope you're doing great, darling.
Thanks
for
the search of the home, including that vault area, has been very fruitful so far. So I'm sure we'll find out more information about that in the coming days and weeks.
Celebrity judge,
it's important to highlight that number of firearms.
Hope you're having a wonderful day.
Is a huge amount, and I was speaking to some criminal profilers over the last few days who said, that number paints Rex Heuermann as maybe an obsessive individual, and certainly maybe even a paranoid one as well. We know in the days and weeks leading up to his arrest, he was researching this case. What some of the searches were. Why haven't the Long Island serial killer been found yet? Why weren't they able to trace his cause? And I suppose that begs the question, was he paranoid that the net was finally closing in on him?
Joseph Scott Morgan, what are your thoughts about searching that basement, the vault, all the guns, and how that could or potentially be connected to this investigation? And would you expect to find anything else hidden inside that home?
Well, certainly we know that in past cases where there have been serial perpetrators, one of the things that they enjoy doing is collecting trophies. And these can be anything from jewelry to items of clothing to actually anatomical elements that they will return to and kind of fantasize over. But I think a word of caution here, man. It's very, it should be, and this was pointed out, and I'm glad that Will brought this up. It was alleged to be a soundproof room. There's a big rush among the media to want to turn this guy into Gacy at this point in time. You can't throw around terms like soundproof room and have that out there. You're talking about.
Thank you so much, Lena. Appreciate you, dear.
Kinds of carpeting. All these kinds of things can be inferred by that simple comment. There's enough on these guys' plate to have to process at this point in time. And the fact that he's got this many weapons down there, and Lord knows what else. I think that what you should be keying in on is what was mentioned. They're saying that this was fruitful. And from an investigative standpoint, when I hear that, and to continue on with that analogy, I like to think about this as harvest time, where you're going to try to collect as many fruits as you possibly can of your labor down there in your searches.
My boat went to Dago. I appreciate that, Lana.
Because they have elements that could potentially have tiebacks. Remember, one of these other comments that's floating around in the media is that it is believed that one individual may have been killed in that home. And again, I think that that's what we need to be focusing on and not thinking about soundproof rooms and those sorts of things at this point in time.
So, Luke, what have we gotten any information about anything that's been retrieved from that home? And do we know about any other potential search areas out there?
So with regards to the evidence that's been found in the home on Long Island, police have been quite guarded about that information. What we do know is from images that we've seen of them carrying certain items out of the home. So we know they towed away another Chevrolet Avalanche belonging to him, a newer model, not the original one that was at a property in South Carolina. They've also carried out various items of furniture, sofas and lamps. One item that I think drew particular interest and speculation in equal measure was some sort of strange life-size doll that was encased in a glass case. that was taken out of the home a few days into the search. The suggestion and the speculation surrounding that doll is, was this one of the dolls that was placed actually at a memorial site for some of the women when their remains were found? Again, that's just pure speculation at this point, and police haven't commented on that. But beyond the house on Long Island, Rex had properties in Las Vegas, 2 timeshare.
Thank you for joining us today, Lost Souls. Appreciate you so very much. Love having you here.
Which are also being searched, in addition to 2 storage units that we also believe belong to Rex Heuermann. So, authorities in now multiple places across the country have a.
All right, buddy, I'm dropping it in the chat right now. You just click on it. It'll bring you right backstage. I'll bring you up front here with me. There it is, right underneath my name, right underneath where it says no change, no more. Come on down, brother. Let me bring that down for now. Yes, thank you so much for that, Lana. Very generous. I appreciate you and your support. I really do. Like I said, we gotta support each other, folks, and that's what we do. You're welcome. Thank you, mods. Wait till you guys see what these Idaho officers have been doing in other cases and how it will play out for Koberger in court. Talk about digging. This is 100. Thank you. Appreciate that, dear. Like I said, guys, we got to work together, not against each other. Lana's got a great channel, great show, great people over there. There's a lot of us out here, and instead of playing against each other, we got to support each other, and that is exactly what we are doing. Did you find the link, Jay? There we go. All right. Can you hear me, my friend?
Yeah, let me just turn off sound so we're not having an echo. Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Loud and clear, brother. Sound great.
Awesome. What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I've been wanting to have you on here. I just had to find the right reason to have you want to come over here. I appreciate you so very much.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
We haven't got to talk like 101. You guys, great stuff. Great stuff. Your channel, Shannon's channel, amazing. I love it. I try to support you guys when I see you over at PB all the time. I love it.
Got my PB shirt on.
Absolutely. I didn't get mine yet. I'm waiting on it. Awesome stuff. Check it out.
Just got it today.
Publicly Buzz. They end the week the right way. After all this crazy stuff we go through all week long, we jump over there and we have a little bit of fun every Friday night for Feral Fridays. You got to love it, folks. Got to love it. Those guys over there rock. I love them boys. So what's new with you, bro?
Not much. We just me and Shannon went out to the scene yesterday just because like it's in our backyard, and we had no idea that it was going to be the day where they decided they were done and then they were going to have a press conference. So like I literally had my laptop out there. I had my phone as a hotspot and I was streaming. Oh, there's Steve. What's up, Steve? I had my phone. I've never done it before. The last time I went out, I just had my phone, but I brought my computer. I had the hotspot and I was just watching. All of a sudden all the press gets there and they all start and we're like, what's happening? And then they tell us like they're about to be done. They had the press conference. They didn't give a ton of new information. But then all of a sudden, the vehicles start because they had you couldn't see anything. The whole street was blocked because they were digging. They would do, obviously they don't want everyone to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they start leaving, and then this detective or whoever it was comes in and is like, if you're in the press, you get 1 hour to come look at the house. I mean, you can only stand in front of the street. You couldn't get on the property or anything, but
yeah, right.
You can get pictures of the house. And they were almost going to not let us go, but we had someone we met the day before, Ruth Bashinsky from the Daily Mail, who's like, yeah, they're with us. She had a pass. I don't have a press pass.
Yeah, right.
She wasn't going to let us go. And she just Googled her and we got in there and we were able to like shoot from the house. It was wild.
Awesome. That is awesome. So what is your take on all of this? What do you think about everything, if I can ask?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my take is, first of all, I think it's a huge bummer. And I think the reason that this took so long is unfortunately, you know, the victims were sex workers and they didn't get the respect that they deserved. And it, you know, it's unfortunate. We don't judge them. I have no judgment towards them, but I think that, you know, unfortunately, that's why this is, you know, where it is. But now that it's coming out, what I'm thinking is, you know, there's the people on Long Island, but I think this number is going to astound people when it comes, you know, we're finding out about South Carolina, Las Vegas. I think the number is going to be staggering. And, you know, just because there was a break for 10 years or however, 13 years, this man wasn't stopping. I mean, he was still had his burner. They have, you know, in the bail application that they have video of him with his burner getting more minutes on it. This man, and the reason they arrested him is because they were worried he was going to do more. So I just think it's going to be a staggering number that I don't even think people are ready for, but I guess we'll see.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm thinking too, that there's going to be so much more coming, you know. People were saying, what again, Stevie? Yes, my friend. So great to have you in here. Everybody say hi, show some love. We got one of the brothers buzzed in here. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Publicly Buzzed, you guys. If you're not, please, make sure you subscribe to Publicly Buzzed. Steve and Dan, and you know, Dago. These are salt of the earth people, good dudes. Make sure you're subscribed.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. I'm telling you, these guys, everybody, all of these people out here, amazing creators, amazing at what they do. All of them, love it.
And grinding like you, man. You're on here like every day. It's a grind. People don't realize this is a grind. And then to like do your other stuff. Like today, Shan's gonna kill me because we're supposed to have our first day off for a while, which is it's okay. We're still gonna go out, but you know this is a grind. And to like try to put out there stuff for people. So like for like you and Steve and Dan to every day come out here and try to get like you were saying before. You like to get the stuff, to get the eyes on the stuff. That maybe people wouldn't see. And like Steve was saying, and like you were saying, like us going out there. We're not this media. I'm just some fucking guy with a camera, but like I'm gonna go, maybe where they're not gonna go, or we're gonna get stuff that maybe they're not gonna get, or give you. We're there just giving you what's there. We're not giving a narrative of any sort from anyone, like the police or whoever. We're just recording, and you guys can decide.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I've been talking about it lately with some of the other creators that come and go, and I go over to their shows and so on and so forth. We all know that mainstream media is kind of a thing that's not really. We don't always get the complete truth, in my opinion, over there. So I've noticed, and a lot of people have said it to me, that YouTube, okay, and the news that we present is the new news now, the real news, because we try to bring the truth. Exactly. We want the truth for ourselves. In turn, want to bring the truth to everybody out here too, because we don't get it. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer.
It's interesting you say that, because so there's this woman, when they finally clear everything out, I don't know if she's a detective, I don't know what but she's being a hard ass. Like you don't gotta your press pass, you can't come in here. And it's clear, like they don't want anyone who's not like there, which I guess it makes sense. You don't want just every fucking person to going out there, but like, someone had put up as I'm leaving the scene, someone was like going to put up a drone, which people have been doing all the time. She's like, well, if you put that up there, I'm going to shoot it down. And I'm like, lady, relax. Like, what do you think? You just said an hour. This is this is worldwide news. Like, and it was just like you said, right. Like people think that like it's just the mainstream media that can get shit out there, but other people are doing things, and like they have a right, just like everyone else, to present what they have, and people can decide what they want to listen to or not listen to.
That's right. And like I said, we see what and I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I see. I think me and Steve and Dan one night talked about the mainstream media at one point. Thank you, Shannon, so very much. There she is, right there, the lovely Shannon Shaming. This is Jay's wife. Everybody, please say hello and welcome her. She's got an amazing thing she does as well. They do this stuff together. She does her own thing as well. It's amazing, guys. These are great people, folks. Please show some love. If we can drop Shannon's link too, please, guys. I appreciate it so very much. But yeah, I feel in a way anymore, Jay, that mainstream media, I've called it, like I said, me and Stevie and Dan were talking about it one night. They become scripted actors. They read from teleprompters. They tell us what they're supposed to tell us, and then they receive a paycheck for that. That's the problem nowadays, because we don't know if we're getting the truth. We don't know if we're getting what's really going on behind the scenes. Is it really this? Is it that? Is it that? And that's why I think what we do out here, you and me and Steve and Dan and Lana, everybody out here, is important in a lot of ways, because like you just said, people can choose to watch what they want to watch, and they have been choosing this platform now because it's so much more truthful. So,
and I think
absolutely,
I agree. And I think what you do, and I think what publicly Buzz even do, and what we try to do is we say, listen, this is our opinion. We know I'm not the gospel. I don't know. This is what with the information we have, and you make your decision. This is what I think. But none of us are the gospel. None of us were there. I wasn't there. None of us were there. We're doing our best to find the information that's out there, presented to you in a way where you can say, I believe this, I don't. And all we ask, and I know you're the same way, and I know, Steve and Dan the same way. Be respectful in the chat. If you have your opinion, we don't mind differing opinions. We just are presenting it to you, and be respectful. And I think that's just the way I like this whole kind of group that we have. I think does runs it that way instead of like people bickering and fighting and bullying. Like we don't need that. Just be respectful. We're presenting our opinions. We're not the gospel, and decide for yourself what you think.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that, and I think it has made a huge difference in what people receive about the things that we talk about, the cases we look at, and all this and that. I think it makes them feel more confident as into what's going on with it now too. I've noticed. I do. When I started, I still watch mainstream media. It's a thing that we just can't let go of. It's like reading a newspaper. You get up in the morning with your coffee, you watch the news, you find out what they want us to know is going on around. Then you come to YouTube and you look at the real deal and see what's actually happening, in my opinion. So yeah, absolutely. I do agree.
What are your like initial thoughts about everything that's going down from what you've seen?
It's
so much, right? There's so much to get into. There's almost too much, it's like,
yes, it is beyond I'm not let me put it this way. With everything that I have covered over the past year, it's not overly surprising because we've really seen a lot of crazy stuff come out over the past few years, things that we would never expect when we were younger. Oh, that doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. It's not the real world. That's not reality. It doesn't make sense. How does this, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's happening. It is happening all around us. It's what scares me. We've seen Gacy, and well, not you, I'm sorry, Bob, Bob, you've been on there with Bob. Bob, his dad covered the Gacy thing, okay, and was the attorney involved, and that was horrific. We've had Jesus, I'm going blank right now. There's so many of these people that we've seen, and now we have this guy is going to be dumber.
BTK, Kerry Ross. We talked to Kerry Ross, and I think that and Gacy, BTK, and I think that what's hitting home with all these cases with Gacy and BTK, and now that like people are asking me when I'm down at the scene, they're like, is it creepy down there? And I'm like, no, that's the point. Like it's his house is a little run down, but this was an everyday neighborhood. I didn't feel creepy to me. It was 20 minutes from my house. And just like I'm sure Gacy's neighbors and Carrie had no way, like that's like you said, it's scary because this has been going on in my backyard. I wake up to my local News 12, which is Long Island's news, and they're like, a serial killer has been found who's like, and it's just like, this is like, this guy could have cut me off in traffic one day and I could have fucking honked, and said, fuck you to this guy. And like, it's fucking Rex Sherman. It's like, it's crazy to think.
That's it. And that's what I'm saying. It's in our face now, guys. It's right around. You could be walking through the grocery store and hand this guy a can off the shelf, and you see him on the news the next day, and he's a serial killer. I live minutes away from where Ariel Castro held those 4 girls in his house for 10 years in Cleveland. Okay. Again, I drove past that house I don't know how many times. And I've looked at the house. I remember looking at that point in time, I did not know that there was 3 or 4 girls being held captive in the basement of that house. This is what I'm saying. Like, these things, they blow your mind because we don't know anymore. I remember being 20 years old thinking I was indestructible. Nobody could ever touch me. Nobody would ever, we're young, we're dumb. We can get through anything. Right. And now, we see these things, Moscow, Idaho. I mean, my God. Okay. 4 kids lose their lives in a college campus that I used to go up to Ohio State and hang out with my friends on campus for 3 days at a time, partying, doing what we did when we were kids. You would never imagine something like that happening. Okay. And it's every day now, every single day, everywhere we look, and it blows my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, with YouTube, it's like, back with Gacy, like those people that were in that community. And then when it came out in the news, like kind of had a thing. But now with YouTube, we see everything. We see everything from the beginning. Like right now, we're seeing. I mean, this is kind of the beginning of the once they arrest them, but like this stuff has been out there. But we see everything from every angle, and it's like it's hard. That's why we say all the time on our like, if you need a break, some of this stuff is heavy, man. Like this is.
Oh, it is. It is.
Take a break. Like I see you have it on your on your ticker there. Like sometimes you got to go outside and like if you're watching this stuff, it's like it consumes you, and it's
it does, and that's why I always talk about Feral Fridays over at the Brothers Buzz, as I call it, because we do and handle, all of us, on a daily basis. I do this 5 days a week. Jay does his shows. When he does his shows, we're always in this doing what we do. It's all we deal with anymore. It's nothing but depressing, sad, and you got to walk away. You got to walk away, because I've lost sleep over this. My moderators will tell you, I can't do it. I can't do it. There's days I just don't want to touch this anymore, especially with Moscow. It's been horrific. It really has, because there's so much stuff and there's so many things that you just don't think it's real. You can't imagine it being real. When we were, like I said, going back to when we were kids, when our parents were raising us, they don't teach us this stuff because they're not supposed to. Okay. We have to learn this as we become adults. And it's like being slapped in the face with a Mack truck sometimes, because you just don't want to believe that human beings can do these things. And you got to step away, folks. You got to step away. I'm moving from one case to another. And it's still just as horrific, if not more. There's so much with this case. And again, we got talk of police corruption again. We got this, we got that. And it makes everybody feel like, who do we trust? What's going on? Where do we go? What do we do? I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, I gotta say, props to you for expanding and checking this out. Like people, you have an audience here that's great, and they want to hear from you. So, props to you for reaching out. I know you saw like someone maybe said something like, no, you can't do the same thing all the time. You got to kind of expand, get other cases out there, get eyes on the stuff that maybe someone who's on your channel would have never seen before, and now they're like, let me look into this. Like, that's so good for you for doing that. Props.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I really do. I mean, at one point before Idaho hit hardcore, I was covering 4 cases at one time. The Kylie Rodney case, Deborah Collier's case, of course, Summer Wells, and I'm still going back to these cases if they're still open, and then I got stuck on Idaho because there was so much every day. And at some point, I feel like, I'm over, like, we can only talk about the fact that this person thinks that Brian's innocent or that person thinks that he's guilty so many times a week, folks, before we have to move forward. When there's nothing new, you don't talk about it again and again and again and again. You wait for something new and then you move forward. There's other cases that deserve to be heard and to be put out there. Like, there's people in here that didn't know anything about this,
right?
Which amazed me. It amazes me, but this is why we do this. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So do you think there's going to be, I think you kind of touched on it just a little bit earlier, like there's going to be a lot more that comes out with this?
I think so. I don't know if you saw that one story. I saw that, so he was in Vegas and they have a transaction where I think he buys a timeshare in Chicago, Illinois, or something like this. He buys, and I saw this on Nerdy Addict's Twitter, or there was a Twitter, but I forget who I saw it. So they have a receipt in 2006 or something, and he buys from Vegas. He buys like a timeshare in Chicago, whatever. A month later, there's a missing sex worker.
Yeah,
and did you saw that story? And one of his aliases. So it's in Springfield, I think, Illinois. One of his aliases, if you look in that bail application, is like John Springfield Man or something like that, some connection. So, so like they were saying, like this could be a connection. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't. This is all like I'm just going with what I see that comes out. But like the fact that he's got this place in South Carolina, and Vegas, you go to Vegas, if you're looking for sex workers, like Vegas, So like, if I'm sure they're looking at a ton of like cold cases and cases that just had no leads, and now all of a sudden in these areas where he were, I just feel like they're going to start finding stuff. And
I do. That's what I said, because he, anywhere he traveled, in my opinion, anywhere that he touched down, put his feet down, laid his head, any town, anywhere he traveled. I have a feeling it's a very grand possibility they're going to find something now. It's just going to, you know how this goes. It rolls downhill. Once you pull the first weed, it all starts flowing,
Right.
And I have a bad feeling there's going to be a lot that falls out of this. I really do.
Well, like you said, as Bob Motta, by the way, guys, but Defense Diaries, Bob Motta, his dad, he's got the pod, but like he always says, once you get this is just the beginning. That bail application, this arrest is just the beginning. Now they get all the subpoenas out. Now they get, they get out there, and like you said, they're going to start everything. They're going to start, with Gacy. They found like a ring, and they were looking for a missing person. They found a high school ring, and it wasn't his initials. And all of a sudden, they just start connecting things, and that's what's going to happen here. They're going to, and we're probably not going to know all right away, obviously, but they're going to start connecting the dots, and I just feel like the number is going to be scary. It's going to be like,
I do too. I'm not anticipating. I'll be that honest with you about it. Of course, I want to know about it, but I'm really not, because it's going to be something I think in a very high realm, and it's going to just be too much.
By the way,
any bit is too much.
Did you see the before they took it down? I think it's taken down. I'm not sure. Did you see the interview he did like with this French guy for like? He did a YouTube interview like a year ago. Like it was interviewing him. It was like a 20-minute interview for him as an architect in his building. And he's asking all these questions. You got to check it out. I don't know. It's still somewhere, but so it's wild, because just to think that this guy, he was, first of all, he's so full of himself in the interview, but second of all, to have he's so arrogant. This man has been killing people for how long, or allegedly,
right?
But he's so arrogant that he did an interview on YouTube that's going to be everywhere, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. You want me on your show? Like, I'll come on." So like this guy just thought the world of himself. Like you see this picture, he's buying burners. This guy had no idea, and he just thinks he just thought he was, just like a genius, clearly, and he got away with it for a long time. So I mean, who knows what?
It makes it worse. Yeah, I've had people ask me, 13 years. Do you think he took breaks in that 13-year period of time? Do you think he did this? I don't at all. I can't see somebody just saying, okay, it's time to take a break for a while. I'll hang out and pretend like I'm going to be a family man now with my wife and 2 kids and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Completely agree.
Did anybody in here have any questions that, if you don't mind, of course, Jay, answering any questions for anybody?
What's up, Dan? Hey, Ricky.
Ricky Cougar back in the house, everybody. By the way, that's Dan from Public Buzz, for those of you that didn't know it. I'm sorry. Did anybody have any questions for Jay that specific they wanted to ask about anything? And it doesn't, as long as you don't mind, of course, it doesn't have to necessarily be just about this, because I'm sure a lot of you guys watch. Yes, Only Dan's. Love it. Only Dan's. Well, that's Roy from Thou Shalt Not Kill says that BTK stopped multiple times. That's true. But I don't know, somebody that's like this, though, Roy, I mean, I think everybody kind of has their own way, I guess, to say, for lack of better terms, and I just don't feel like this guy, the way he's done these things, I don't feel like he's that guy.
Someone asked if I didn't actually see the digging, guys. Unless you had a drone, you couldn't get, they blocked it. Once that day that they blocked, so I couldn't see any digging. I tried to get but they really blocked. It's the second house from the corner. So, unless you had a drone, I personally didn't see actual digging. I just saw, the trucks and the people going in and out, but I couldn't see the actual digging.
Absolutely.
And by the way, something I want to bring up, I see a lot is people are like, the wife had to be involved. The family had to be involved. Absolutely not. They ruled them out. He was away, but a lot of people are like, well, it's New York. Everyone thinks it's just Manhattan. This man worked in Manhattan, but he lived on Long Island. So every day he got on the train and went about 45 minutes to the city. And he's an architect. So he could be like, hey, honey, I'm going to check out. Like, she would have no idea. And this is 2000, 10 years ago. Even if he's still, I completely, to me, it's not crazy that they had no idea. I don't think they were involved. I don't think they had any idea.
Right. Let's see. Draw. I don't know if you're familiar with Draw Latina. She's great lady. She's a doctor. She comes in here and makes comments a lot and helps through a lot of different things. But she says, Jay, do you know anything regarding his nuclear family? I do not like rumors, but I did hear that possibly his wife and children were on food stamps during the past years.
It's funny. I saw that for the first time in your chat today when I was watching. I had not
Me
heard
too.
I had not heard that rumor. That was the first time I saw that. But you know, I know that his wife basically said when she found out, it is what it is. Like I just can't imagine the shock when you're told. And apparently, you know, they showed her some additional evidence that where like they showed her something, and I think she filed for divorce within the next couple of days. So like I don't think it's not like she's standing by him. She's filed for divorce.
Yeah,
If you didn't know that, was it within the next couple of days where she filed for divorce? And it really sucks because, by the way, the press is out there taking her pictures, which I think kind of sucks. But you know,
Of course, yeah, that's horrific. I don't think that needs to be done. You know, the kids are going to go through enough. She's gone through enough and going to go through more. Like, leave it be. Just leave it go.
Right.
That
I mean, this is her house, by the way. This is where. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Please finish what you're saying.
No. I was just gonna say, like, just think we're all like, I'm there and I'm trying to report to show the house and I'm trying to say, but like, this is where this woman lived. You know what I mean? And she hasn't been able to go back there. Like and it's not like these people are billionaires where they could just be like, all right, let me just go bunk up in the Four Seasons and you know, we'll figure this out. Like these people have to figure out they're victims in this as well. They have to figure out what they're gonna do with their lives right now. Like they're you know, I'm sure shocked by what happens and then have to figure out the game plan from here. I talk to Kerry Rawson all the time, and like almost every day, it's just like trying to figure out, like, for the rest of their lives, they're going to be dealing with this and try to have to figure out a way to cope with what they've found out.
Right, and that's enough in itself. You know, on top of thinking that she lived with this man and this man was doing this and that, and her children were around it. I mean, it's just. This is horrific for this woman. I feel so bad for any of this, any of this family. It's horrifying. You know, I would never want to imagine that.
Right. And think about her thinking like every like what ifs, like thinking like, oh, remember when I made that trip? What happened? That like just going through your head every time, like there was something weird, or you went somewhere and thinking, oh wait, he was away longer. He said he was on a business trip, but he took a while, but then he explained it. But now let me think about that again. Like.
Yeah, she's going to be going back through everything that went on during their relationship throughout their whole life. I can only imagine, you know, it's crazy. The Archer girl 85 says, do you think that he had anything to do with Shannon Gilbert's death?
I don't think so, because if you if you saw in that piece, she was on. So we actually drove. Me and Shannon drove from his house to where the bodies were found, and she was found on the opposite side. You know, she was found with her ID. She was found with money. She was not, and she had her clothes on. It was completely different from the other victims, and it was on the complete other side. So we drove there and we saw basically what we think, at least me and Shannon think, and from our trip there, and from what we've seen, he had to drive on this Ocean Park, by the way. And it's not where they were found in the brush, the victims that he's being linked to, where they were found. It's you stop on the parkway, but then there's like a bike path with like it's a paved road for bikes, go one lane each way, like a smaller thing. We walked on it, but he would have had to stop on the parkway, drag them over that, and they were found in the brush like a little bit from there. So, but she was on the other side of the road, so I don't think that.
I can agree with that from what I saw on it. It early on, yeah, of course, we all thought that, I'm sure. But, at this point, no, I agree. It's definitely not. WSU mom Kim says, do you think the other bodies found near the four are related to this?
I think there's a good chance. I mean, they're all the other, Shannon Gilbert's away, but all those are in relatively close area where he would have basically done the same exact thing. I think there's a good chance. And like you had said, they can't in New York. I guess it's different than other places. They can't, run his DNA through the system yet, but once they get a conviction, they can, I just think they're going to start finding more and more stuff. And who knows, they didn't say much on the conference, but at the press conference, but clearly they had if they started digging, they're not just digging just to dig. Like there's something had to be going on there. They're not telling us.
Yeah, of course.
Like whether they had trophies or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Something where he brought back with him to his house. I don't know.
Of course. You know, we've seen that with many other quote unquote serial killers in that sense, you know? So yeah, absolutely. Dan or Ricky Cougarback says, Jay, you heard he owed a shit ton to the IRS. Is that correct?
Yeah, I saw the local news reporting. I think it was like 100,000 that his firm had liens. I did see that. Something I
Wow.
think it was 110,000, maybe more than that. But yes, I did see that he had a bunch of his company had a bunch of liens with the IRS.
Mm-hmm. Right,
I mean,
right.
clearly he wasn't
Somebody
putting
had
the money
started to
into his
talk
house.
or asked it. No, not at all. Which is weird because, like you had said, you know, that's a nice looking neighborhood, and then you see that place, and it's like, wow, okay.
And he's an
Well,
architect.
then again, his mind, yeah, that's the biggest part of it. That's what he does, guys. You know, but it seems to me that his mind was obviously somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And KT says, when do you think he started the unaliving? Was it before 97? Do you think, or
That's the question of the day. Like that's the question. When did this man start? And like I wish like it's hard to I don't know. I would be lying if I could give you a an approximation, but that I think is the real question because once they how many cases do we not know about? I don't know. I wish I had a better
that's
answer.
what we've been. Yeah, there's a lot, guys. I mean, we don't know. Like this could go back to, you know, I'm not exactly sure this guy's true age, but who knows what he did when he was even like a teenager, or you know, some of this stuff starts Dahmer, the way he did things and didn't do things and stuff. I mean, we don't know. We just don't know. You know, it's a crazy question. And somebody else says, or well, I had another one, but Golf Inspector says, Jay, what do you think of his successful business living in that shack?
Well, two things, like Ricky, or not Ricky, like Dan was saying, he had a lien. So how successful was he really? I guess we'll get that information. But two, like you just said, Dago, where was his mind at? His mind, if he's doing this stuff, his mind isn't on his house. He doesn't give a shit. Like that's not what his focus. I've seen reports from his neighbors saying he was kind of like, a weirdo, and like he didn't care. Clearly, he didn't care. It's almost like you guys saw the Burbs, but like the movie The Burbs, but he didn't give a shit. He was like that weird neighbor with the weird house. And he wasn't putting that money towards his house because he was clearly working on other things. Like, to be doing this for however long, like that's effort. That's a lot of effort. Yeah. If you saw it, like he had like 7 burners and he's trying to contact all these, he didn't kill. By the way, he didn't kill every sex worker that he hooked up with. Like he is like, he's working this stuff. He's Googling him stuff. Like he's working this, folks. And it's,
He made it in a sense a secondary career for himself, for lack of better terms. That's how it looks to me. And it's scary. It is so scary that he put that much time and effort into this. No Change No More is asking, Jay, do you think that there is corruption involved in this sense?
Oh, for sure. In the Suffolk County PD, for sure. I mean, I'm from Suffolk County is where I live, but I mean, there's no reason that it should have taken, like Vinnie Politan was saying, there's no reason that this should have taken as long. Someone ID'd him, ID'd his car, and said, he didn't say this was a 5'10" guy that looks like everyone else. They said this guy was like an ogre, which he is like an ogre. And once they had started this task force in 2022 or whatever, and they started like working together, like clearly, I think that last guest that was talking on, I think it was Vinny, was like, we gave the information, we never got anything back. They weren't working together. Once they started working together, clearly that's when they, started, getting all this information. They had the belt. So yeah, I think there was corruption from the beginning.
Right. And again, Draw says in psychiatry, there's a saying that how you live / decorate and organize your home is a reflection of the state of your mind. There it is. Well,
what's also interesting. So the outside of his house doesn't look shitty, right? But he invested to put in that, vault underneath. Like he put his money there that he was interested in. He didn't care about the outside.
And that gives you, again, the state of his mind and where he's at, and it's just, it makes you wonder. Somebody else had said that earlier too in here. Did he get caught in the midst of something possibly? Was he about to do something else? And that's a great question in my opinion.
Well, I can give Shannon credit for this. I did not know this story. So at a certain point, when they started releasing stuff, when they did the task force, what they did was they released this info about there was a belt buckle with initials on it. So they released that information, and they released some information, and they did it on purpose in a way where it looked like it was an accident, but it was on purpose. And what they did was they started checking who was searching for this stuff, and that's one of the ways that they found him. So like, and by the way, guys, for those who haven't seen the bail application where they show his Google searches, I mean, I think they can convict the man on his Google searches alone, but some of the searches are bad, folks. If you haven't seen them, just trigger warning on those.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. Rollo says that he was even being monitored when he picked up potential victims just to collect footage of him in action, which is that states, that he was, in my opinion, in the midst of doing what he was doing, possibly again, regularly.
Absolutely.
So who's to say what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like I said, he was putting minutes on his burners. He was out on Tinder. They did this quicker than I think they wanted to because they were worried he was going to do it again. Like I think if they weren't worried about that, they would have. Yes, and yes, Renee is right. The initials on the belt were his dad's initials, W, or his grandfather's. I forget if it was his dad or his grandfather's. It was WH.
Right. So, with that being said, and then talking about that, well, I mean, what do you think about his grandfather, his father, any family history? Do you think there's anything maybe linked in the sense in his past?
To be honest, I don't. I would be lying if I knew about his past. I don't. I mean, I would assume something for him to be like this happened. Being brought up, but I would be lying if I knew the details about his dad or his grandfather.
Yeah, right. Definitely not something we know. Just a thought. To
no,
put
but
out there.
It's worth mentioning.
We're not Google searches of homicide. Like he didn't do anything there since he was Googling. Oh,
that's interesting.
Thanks
for the info, Dan.
Good point, Dan. Thank you. Something to look into. Let's see. Making sure my checking here. Yeah.
By the way, I was saying in the chat, guys, the one thing about where so the bodies were found on Gilgo Beach, and the crazy thing about that road, and there's Shannon and I had went to a concert on Jones Beach. Jones Beach has a amphitheater, and we went to a concert just literally the weekend before the news broke. That road, zero lights, super dark. They were found in the winter. So he goes to this beach, say 3 a.m. You could see both ways, super long. So like it makes sense that he stops. He looks and drags them over, and they weren't found far. It's not like he tried to bring them very far. So it's super, super dark on that road. No, the concert was Counting Crows, not Dave Matthews.
Okay, still a great concert.
Steve is right. Google, like these guys, as these go forward, these Google searches and internet searches, these guys, they think, you would think this guy got away for so long that he was like had an idea, but this idiot is Googling everything. Like it catches you, right, Steve?
And you got to know. Yeah, you got to know. You got to know how Google works. The guy worked with the computers and this and that and was Googling things and that. You just can't say he didn't know. That doesn't make sense. Devil Doll is asking, did they happen to find any remains in the garden that you know of?
No, from what I understand, they did not. I do not believe they did.
Okay. And then Nelly is talking about or speaking to Dakota Parker, but saying, James Burke, ex-police chief, plus the ex-DAA, Thomas Spada, both convicted and blocked FBI from investigating this case. That is some crazy stuff in my mind right there. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. They're not, like they're not working together. So like when they're blocking it, you need this task force. You need these people working together when you can't figure it out. And like if they're blocking each other, clearly that's why 13 years later they're finally getting some information when they finally get a team that works together and puts the pieces together. Like if they're blocking each other, it's
and thank God. I mean, 13 years is too long, but it could have been even longer, folks, if this wouldn't have happened. And who knows how many people, It's just,
and
it's a scary, scary thought.
And in the end, think about these victims' families have had to wait this long, guys. Just remember, this is we're trying to get justice for these victims, and this entire time they've had to wait for. Imagine you're waiting just to wait this long. So, all right. So it was thanks, babe. It was the grandfather as William.
Right. Thank you, Shannon, so very much. And who was it that I just saw that? Where'd it go here? It's moving a little too quick for me. Do you know?
By the way,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, guys, if you want an invaluable resource to get information on this case, there's a Twitter account. It's catch_LISK. It has this. The person running this account is amazing. Catch_LISK on Twitter. They have a link tree too there, and there's so much information. They have the maps. They have the information on the victims. I can't recommend them enough. Me and Shannon have used them for the research, and check them out if you want any information on this case. Catch_LISK on Twitter. They're great.
Twitter. All right, I got that. I'll put that up there. One of the mods doesn't do it. I'll throw it up here soon. Let me see. Somebody must have asked Shannon a question. Home prices in LA, like everywhere, are up a literal ton since 25 years ago in 1998. Inventory is low and demand is high AF. Absolutely. Yeah, things have changed a lot in a lot of different ways. So do you think, I don't even know. Do you guys have carry the death penalty out there?
No death penalty.
No. So this is going to be a lifer then. Which is
right.
Wow.
With no death penalty, Mandy, I think it's catch_LISK. With no death penalty for him, it's like, why? Other than if he has the thought to be like, I don't want to put my family through this. If there's no death penalty, what's the why would he do a deal or anything if he's just gonna get life and it's not death penalty on the table? Why would he negotiate like a deal?
Yeah.
Like he's just gonna go forward unless like BTK was like, I'm not, his family, he didn't do it with his family, but I guess we'll see.
Do you think, well, I guess no, that wouldn't make sense then. I was going to think, but it was already answered in my opinion.
Yes, he's pleading not guilty.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another. That's crazy. There's a link, by the way. Stevie, thank you for that. And Kim says, but if he crossed state lines to a DP state, that's an interesting question.
So
I wonder
if they get into another state,
I wonder how that works out now, because that's weird. Never thought of that, how that would work out. I mean, it depends on, I guess, the majority of. Well, no, it would have to be where he's arrested and where he's tried, right?
Well, I would think they would try him in both. I don't know. That's a good question. I would think they would try.
That's something to think about.
Which is just crazy because we haven't come across this for that to be. We're thinking about this now. But yeah, look at that map. Look at that map and look how close they are to. It's just it's startling, and just to think this is like, going to the beach like we were talking about before. My parents took me to the beach. We went to the beach on Long Island. This is where how many times does this guy take the stripper? When you go to concerts on Jones Beach, this is the road we're taking. And this is just in your back door. This is your neighbor. If you're in Massapequa Park, this is literally the man that lived next to you every day. And
like
this is what he was doing.
You pass him in the grocery stores. You could sit next to him at a restaurant having dinner, I mean, wow. It's just, it blows my mind, you guys. It really does. And there's more people out there like this. That's the other thing. That's the hardest part of this, is that right. We just don't know ever. We never know. And yeah, they are so close together too. That's crazy. And I also wonder, yeah, that's true. Bonnie Ted Bundy did cross state lines. Somebody had asked if it's a national case led by FBI, he could face the death penalty. Okay.
Interesting.
And Dan says, I think he could be tried in both states. Okay. Well, there we go. Interesting. And then somebody else, Miss SRB, says, can't that state convict him separate like they did? They're trying with Valor. Yeah. Like that. I guess we're going to find that out, folks. We really are.
Well, I think one thing that might be interesting to the folks that I know who follow you and follow, the Idaho 4 is that the difference in the initial affidavits. I was talking to Bob Mott about this, like when you look at, I asked Bob what he thought about with with Rex Sherman after reading the bail and the paperwork. It was not an indictment. I forget what it was called, bail, but
Yeah.
he's like,
The bail
it
hearing.
was so he's like, I think he's fucked. Like it's there. We have to say allegedly, but based on everything but then
Yeah.
you got the other, the Idaho 4 where it's like, you don't know, like there's so much questions about it. It's such a difference in the two different cases where it's very clear from everything they got on this guy. Well, we have to say allegedly, with his Google searches, with his DNA, with now they're at his house and finding stuff, and his proximity and everything. This guy, I mean, allegedly, this guy's the dude. I mean, so it's just an
Yeah.
interesting kind of between the two cases how different it is.
For sure. Absolutely. Let's see. Thou shalt not kill. Ted Bundy arrested in Florida got death penalty, although he committed crimes in multiple states. New York will try him. No DP there. Life sentences is cruel. Yeah.
Bob says that all the time.
Right. I feel that way too. I feel like depending on what it is, like I think you should have to sit for the rest of your life and then some and think about what you've done and deal with, especially with what he did. If he's ever, well, he will be probably put out into general population. That's gonna be it right there. That's his penalty, his punishment right there.
Yeah, I mean, look at Dahmer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And we knew, and they knew, everybody knew that was going to come down to it eventually. Okay.
Right.
It's just the way it works, folks. Unfortunately, you can't think that somebody's going to go into prison doing taking the charges that they've taken in there and survive it. Sometimes, most of the time it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Bob Mott says all the time, living in a box is way worse. That the death penalty is letting them off, and being in a box for the rest of your life is worse. So I mean that's a good point. I forgot whoever just said that, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Mandy asked, I think that was at Shannon. Our property records public record in Suffolk County. Okay.
Babe, do you know the answer to that? I don't know I don't know the answer to that actually.
And Dan says that no one's going to be arguing this guy's innocence. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly,
not.
Dan.
Right. Exactly. Rollo is saying that Rex took psychotic to a whole different level, the way he would just paddle along in his boat with the body.
Well,
oh, yeah.
I've heard that rumor, but if you can, are you able to zoom it on the screen? I know there's a rumor that there was a boat, but for the folks that weren't, don't know Long Island or where he was, he's in Massapequa Park. He's landlocked. He doesn't have a dock anywhere near. He had to drive, and I don't know if you can zoom in, but if you can, it's okay. We went over this with Publicly Buzz and everything. It doesn't look like where they were found. Yeah, see, you can scroll in. Maybe a couple bodies were kind of by the water, but you see those 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no way he went in a boat and then dragged them across. In my opinion, like I said, I'm not the gospel. In my opinion, he's on that road. He drags them over. They're right in the brush there. Maybe some other ones, but we were at the water. It's not close. It would have been a very difficult job for him to have them in a boat and then drag them. But that's just my opinion. Maybe there's a different way that I'm not aware of, but I think he would.
I agree with you. That would be really difficult, I would think, too. And I didn't even get to see that area to know it myself. In person, it's a lot different than looking at here. So,
right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me bring this back down here. Sorry. I don't have all the up-to-date stuff like most people do. I got to do it the hard way. Let's see. Okay. Lisa's saying, so was this special team they put together to investigate this hush hush, or did people know about it? Did he know they were actively pursuing this?
No, they announced it, and like I said, they put up some evidence hoping he would be searching so they could find who is actively searching this all the time. No, he was aware, and he was still, like I said, this guy was a narcissist, just like a lot of them are. They just think that they're above everyone. Not only do they think they're smarter than everyone, they just think that everyone, like, they're just not going to be. And I mean, they didn't find out about it. To back his narcissism, he's been doing it. Like, why wouldn't he think that? It's been,
and that's why he probably, right. That's why he feels he can continue doing what he's doing. He's still going to continue to get away with it. You know what I mean? I agree with that for sure. Steve says that you guys went over that last night, and I kind of thought it would be possible zooming in, but the more Dan and I discussed, I agreed with Dan. It doesn't seem likely, right? Yeah, I gotcha. Thank you guys from Buzzed. I appreciate you guys jumping in on this as well. Appreciate the comments and the thoughts and everything on this. Night Move says, I worked at an NSA facility in southeastern Virginia on the border of North Carolina, 3,000 acres, where there are 3 mass graves. There's a reason you don't know about that facility. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting to know. Thank you for that.
Sorry, I don't. Me and Shannon are about to go out, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me on and talking about this. I really
thank you. I appreciate you. Anytime, please know you have a open invitation. I'd love to have you. I'd like to get you and Shannon both on here. Maybe the guys from Publicly Buzzed together. I'd love to have a panel like that where we can all just discuss something. I think it'd be wonderful.
Absolutely, dude. Just let us know. We're down.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you so very much. Enjoy the rest of your day off. Stay off the rest of the day. Tell Shannon thank you for sharing you with us for a little while here. Appreciate you so very much.
All right. Thank you, dude. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, buddy. Again, The Shaming of Jay, folks. Please check it out. I'll drop that link again. Have a great day, brother. All right. That was awesome, guys. Thank you for joining us today, Jay. Let's see. I can't Jay anymore at Shane. You guys have a great night. Right. Absolutely. Thank you, Shannon. If you can hear me, for sharing him with us just for a little while. We appreciate that so very much, and all the info. Again, guys, great stuff. Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong with the J-Bo Nation. Absolutely, Mandy. Absolutely. Definitely a huge fan of Jay and Shannon, have been for a long time. And I've been wanting to get him over here. I'm glad that we got to do that today. We're going to set something up where we can get them both on here, get the boys over here as well, and do something good. Thank you so much, Shannon. Appreciate you so very much. You have a great day. You guys enjoy yourselves out there and enjoy your day off. That's important. You got to take a break. Absolutely. Yes, it did. It worked out perfectly. Chicken nugget. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to this today? Any one of you guys? Let me know, please. So that's what's going on with this case, guys. We're going to be looking into it more, obviously, because there's so much more to it. I wanted to introduce it to you guys, show it to you guys, show you what's going on for those of you that aren't familiar with it. As you see, the awesome Jay from The Shaming of Jay, he's all onto this, was at the house yesterday, they said, which was very interesting to hear. Absolutely. Thank you, Eddie. Great stuff. Great stuff. There it is. There it is. That's it, guys. That's how you guys can follow Jay on Twitter. Check it out. Check it out. Show some love. Make sure you guys are supporting the channels, the Twitter. Follow him any which way you can, guys. It's well worth it. Jay is great at what he does. Shannon's amazing. Always awesome stuff. Busy. Let's see here. There it is, the Courtroom DJ. That is the link to the channel, folks. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Thank you, Stevie. And again, guys, don't forget, our Brothers Buzz, our other fam over there at Publicly Buzzed, Friday nights, they do the Feral Fridays. That is where we can go take a break from what we've been doing. Sit back, relax, have a few drinks, and enjoy ourselves, because we all work so hard during this week, guys. We really do. Amen to that one, Nikki. I agree with you on that one. They are great people. Great people. Great at what they do, too. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Patty. And I have a feeling, Patty, that they're going to be separate cases, and I'm okay with that, because the Shannon Gilbert case, I'd really like to know what's going on, because it's obviously, I agree with Jay on that one. It's not linked, so I would love to see what happens with that. Heather M. 100% at Stevie. This has been a fantastic stream. I appreciate Dago for including everyone, all of you mods. Well, thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate you, my dear. I hope you guys have enjoyed this stream. There's going to be more of these like this, guys. We're doing some changing, doing some extra things. Like I said, guys, you all deserve nothing but the best. I'm working on. I have not had a chance to talk to them. They're always so busy. I want to get the brothers buzzed together. I love being on their show. I have a blast over there, but I'd like to get them over here sometime, but their work schedules don't make it happen sometimes, you know. It's rough. I'd like to talk to Daniel over at Drunk Turkey now that he's covering this case as well. You know, I'd like to get together with him on that. Vic says it's not a case of note. Dago, just another perv getting away with his fetish. And well, in some senses, that's true. That is so true. Public Buzzwell this Friday and Voop. That's a good question. That's a good question. There's some new stuff coming out with that stuff, folks. Got to look at it. Absolutely. Stevie, I want to get you guys on here. I do. I want to do a whole thing. Seriously. Like I said, I have a blast over there. For sure. I can only imagine what we can do over here. You know, whenever, I'd love to get a hold of you guys, seriously, and get this rolling. It's been a minute. I've been busy. You've been busy. We got to make it happen. Either way, brother. Iris says that Rex is not in CODIS. It will be interesting to see how they find him with DNA on pizza crust. How they found him. Yeah. Gotcha. It is. And I'm still kind of nervous. I'm waiting to see what else comes out of this, guys. I really am. Can I recommend a YouTube channel with a good background on the list case? Absolutely. You can recommend anything you want to. Thank you all for being so receiving and very polite and respectful to Jay being on here, by the way, because you guys are amazing. I knew you would, as you always are. So thank you for that as well. Well, Miss Kim, thank you. Please take your love of the life to coffee. I so appreciate her. And she appreciates you, Miss Kim. She does. The support that you give the channel, she does appreciate all of you guys. 1001%. Again, guys, you guys are the ones that got this channel to 6,000 yesterday. She appreciates and respects you all for that as well. But thank you, Miss Kim. You are a beautiful person, and I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. There it is, guys. So, does anybody have any questions, thoughts, theories, any issues, or anything, guys, on this at all before we go anywhere? Again, thank you so much for that, Kim. Much love to you, dear. To answer somebody's question, I bet it will. At Ali, I covered the UFO hearing today in detail on Twitter. Awesome stuff, Stevie. Good job, brother. Yeah, we will get that worked out, buddy. We will get that worked out one way or another. It'll be a great show. It will be a great show. We don't even have to worry about moderators or nothing. Mr. CJ's in the house. As always, I appreciate your support too, brother. Thank you for being here. Not a fan of fetish cases. The commonly is depressing and astounding. I can understand that. I do understand that, Vix. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good point, Dakota. Thank you. At True Crime Capital, Dago DeSantis changed the DP situation in Florida back in April. Thank you for that. And I did not know that. You guys are awesome. Absolutely, Richard. Aloha to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us today, brother. I appreciate you so very much. All right, folks. Well, I think that'll do it for today. Kicked it off. We didn't cover quite a bit. Great show, by the way. So very much appreciated. So very much appreciated. Hair on the victims belonging to his wife tied to pizza crust he ate seems strange on tying DNA to Rex being the Lisk. His wife not related to him. I understand. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let me see over here something, folks. Take that down. All right. I'm sorry, folks. 1 second. Okay. On our way out the door, we see here. Sorry, folks. Again, guys, who knows where I will be tonight? Who said that? Rolo says, Dago, drop the link real quick. Oh, hold on, folks. Don't go anywhere yet, please. I can only do it for a moment here. All right, Stevie, absolutely, brother. I appreciate that. Just for a second here. All right, Rolo. It's in chat there. Give me 1 second. Let's see what. What's up? What can I do for you, sir?
Hey, what's up, Dago? How you doing?
What's up? I just got a minute here. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. How I was talking about dragging the bodies and all that, like the thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what you got going on?
I mean, when you have a criminal, you don't. That doesn't make any sense because, to my understanding, the bodies were, kind of like chopped up, right? So I don't think he dragged the bodies and then did the other extra stuff right there while on the beach. I think in my mind, I think they were already chopped before they were on the boat, and then that was easier for him, to transport them off the boat and just walk across the ditch.
Yep,
right?
absolutely. That does make sense, sir. It definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, because he said, nah, he had to drag them. Like, come on, doesn't make sense. And another thing, when you guys were commenting about the like getting life and being in a box, like the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that in certain cases, yeah, that's punishment. But I've seen it firsthand. You know, like I told you who my neighbors were in the shoe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They live and they thrive off fan mail. They were like they would literally get like minimum a store bag full of fan mail every day, minimum every day.
Wow.
You know. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, you
That's
gotta think about all these, admirers and people that finance them, or like, send them money for an autograph or a drawing or whatever, even for their prison ID. So
absolutely.
this guy Manson, actually, he had his neighbor receiving his fan mail and reading it to him overnight, and they were so creative where like through the sockets in between the cells, you have like the plumbing access and the electrical access,
Right.
and
Right.
it's only like it's only a little circle, probably like a 2-inch circle in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 2-inch circle, it had it had 3 holes like in a triangle.
Oh, okay.
And through one of those holes was for the cable for your TV. One of those holes was for your power cable for your TV. The other one for antenna, right? So they'll have one extra left, and they'll make a little line out of like rolled up newspaper in circles. They'll roll it up like really small, or it'll like connect to each other, like one thicker than the other one, one's thinner than the other one. It'll like female male kind of like fittings, and they'll run it all across to the other side of the cell, of the access to the other cell, and they'll communicate through there. Like it's like a tiny little line of communication. You get it? They'll speak through there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With
Okay.
yeah, because they also had hearing aids, so they'll transfer like the little signal through, from one side they'll attach it on one side on one end, and on the other one also, so it's kind of like the microphone and the speaker part.
Right.
So they'll use that, like, weird how, but I would hear them every day. I would hear the guys always reading fan mail to them, and this guy will just get off on his, like. So I mean, in my opinion, in that case, it was a no kind of help. Put it like this: Manson didn't even want to get out. He enjoyed the fame,
Mm-hmm.
Like he never
Yeah.
admitted that he was guilty
I
and
can
all that,
tell
but he
that.
didn't want like he was never like trying to get out because he would be a nobody after that.
Oh, of course. He wouldn't have
So
been
I've
who he
seen cases.
was. That's a fact. I can agree with that for
Yeah, so
sure.
I've seen cases where they enjoy their celebrity status, their I mean, in some cases, unfortunately, being stuck in a box for life, is not a punishment, for some people.
It can be. Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely. Most definitely, sir. And I'm glad that
Yeah,
you got through that part of your life and you're doing good now, sir. I do want to say that. We appreciate you.
yeah,
We absolutely do.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to mention something real quick. I
Okay.
have a comment I made a comment a while back about the DNA thing, like the touch DNA.
Oh, okay.
And I have a
Yeah.
comment that I mean, to my understanding, it was a Fed that was replying to me because I brought up the thing about how they didn't find nothing in Idaho and how they sent it to Outram, the
Yeah,
Outram
right.
lab, and then supposedly like even there they didn't find nothing, and then it was I wrote that it was just magically appeared after it was picked up from Outram by the feds.
Yeah, right.
I took it up to to the heart, where he was like, the reason we picked it up from the lab was because BK had access to the state labs,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't want the defense using it as an excuse for cross contamination, since he had access to the labs.
Yeah, oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why we took it to our unique labs, because we have a unique perp in this case. So
Yes, sir.
basically, he let me know, like in his words, that he was a Fed.
Okay.
And I was
Gotcha.
thinking, okay, like, how would he have access to the labs? Like, so I
Yeah, that's a
mean,
good point. Good point.
who would get into the labs, a state lab where the DNA testing, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. That makes sense.
Well,
Yes,
public
sir.
employees, right?
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
And I've always wondered why they never brought out or revealed the information about his gun license. You know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
that he had a firearm. I know he had a security permit before, but I'm sure he had one in
Yeah.
Washington
Yeah.
or something. You know?
He had to at
Yeah,
some point because of what he did. You're
yeah.
right. That's a
And
fact.
it's never been revealed. Like that information.
That's true. That is
And to,
100% true.
and to me, when they went into his apartment and they went through his computer tower and all that, and then
Mm-hmm.
they came out and said they had to seal all the evidence because other findings would and I guess in some words it would send the public into panic, and they'll feel like they were in something like the public would be endangered. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was because like for some reason it has me thinking that the public would be informed that he was probably some kind of agent,
Right.
and that like
Oh
this
yeah.
was all happening, all this corruption, like that would be a reason to send all the public into panic or the endangered, to me, like, or the community,
I
if
agree.
it involves corruption or maybe undercover, being
Yes, sir.
framed or whatever, I don't know.
Right. 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 No, that makes
That's
sense.
I mean, it has me kind of going, like, you know, crazy thinking about it.
Get it. I get it. Yes, sir. Very crazy. Absolutely.
Be-
Well, thank you,
Because
man. I
those words
appreciate.
have not really used in other cases. I never really heard that.
Oh no. Yeah. Not too
Like,
often. You
There-
don't.
There's
Right.
there's still evidence or information that would have the public thinking that they were endangered or whatever, or like, I don't know. I
Mm,
never seen information sealed. You know?
yeah. Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Well,
share that
sure.
with everybody. And
I appreciate
it
it,
was,
brother. I
it was
do.
just
Everybody out
very
there saying
interesting,
that they appreciate
everybody
you
into
too.
it.
All right. All righty, sir. Well, thank you once again. Always grateful to have you up here. Always happy to hear your insightful information. Very informative. We appreciate that so very much. 100%, sir. You
Yeah,
have
likewise. Thank
a
you.
great
Have a good one
day.
too.
Yes, sir. You too, brother. Have a great one.
All right, likewise.
All right, bro. Bye bye. All right. Again, thank you, Rolo, for that. Great show today, folks. By the way, thank you all for every bit of what you had as part of this show. On the end of this, I wanted to say, we found out some bad news today, folks. I've been into music for my whole life. Okay, back in the '80s when Sinead O'Connor came out, she was a very big influence in a lot of people's lives. She had a beautiful voice, just beautiful musical talent. Okay. And I kind of wanted to, as you can see the ticker rolling at the bottom of the screen, rest in peace, Sinead. I said thank you for sharing yourself and your music with us for all these years. Um, just a wonderful soul. She fought with mental health for years upon years, but was a beautiful person, and she fought for a lot of um, things that she believed in over the years as well. And just such a beautiful person, guys. In my opinion, very big influence musically to a lot of people that are involved in music, in my opinion. And much. Rest in peace, Sinead. You're a beautiful person, a beautiful soul, a beautiful piece of all of our lives. I thank you for what you have given to all of us and your time that you were here. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. I love you all. And I will see you all so very soon. Bye-bye, everyone.